Popped 100 points. What is up, beautiful people? We just popped 100 points on the future just like that. Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. I'm Sharif, and the lady in red right there is your girl, Adara. And we're going to wait for everyone to stream on over from the other other stream. We got Darwin, the OG Darwin. We got my man Fat Figure, Pitchbull, Bot Ricks, and Adrian Cesar Sandoval. Happy Friday to you, my man Vicky and Novak. MUSDJPY tanking, he says. 605, hold my dang beer. Mateus Lane and Brian, Max Trades and Investing joining us as well. And it wouldn't be a Friday if Big Asian didn't join us. Bristol in the house as well. Shout out to Hey Davis and Stan trading with Nikkei Gaurav, my man Gaurav there. Trader Lee, Maury L. We got Rogelio Concepcion. Ronaldo, hello to you too, my man. Glenn Smith. Flawed Thinker, Aaron and Joanna Brewster, the power couple from the Google. I love the shared Google account there. I actually do love it. DAM John Frank Jones. We got John Neo. He's saying Adara and Michael Lewis. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, Sharif?
I be good. As I just told you, big step in the build out. Happy AF as right now because big installation right now just got done. And that is a little bit of pressure off my shoulders with that. So now that that's done, we're going to focus on these here markets. I saw some analysis you were doing before we got on the show. Anything you want to add before we get to the list?
Yeah, I'm undergoing a quiet moment of devastation. So I saw Lily get into 900s. I was like, oh my gosh, the amount of smoke I want. It does the bid creep going into 899s. It is so beautifully bullish. It has a million shares of volume. It has levels I like. Woo. What am I doing, Sharif? So I go to press long. And it doesn't fill me because I accidentally ask for 100 shares, which is leaps and bounds above my buying power, understandably so. I don't get filled. I'm not able to get filled. I try again. It's too late at that point. And then girl bids up. So I'll be watching. Now we're back below 900s. That's why I didn't chase it. If we start rejecting here off that 902, I like that 901, 902 area. I didn't see us get anywhere into 904s on the book. Then I'll go short. I'm cool with that. I can be adaptable. But yeah, a stock breaks your heart, but it's cool because you don't have feelings in the market. So you got to keep going. Lily, it was fun while it lasted. And we'll see how this goes from here. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. I am wearing the red. I know I want to address the fact that I am.
Red. I don't know. Is that how it goes? You don't know Larry Duran?
I don't know that song, no. I mean, I know it exists, but I don't know it.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard it in a hot minute either.
But yeah, I'm looking at also Smickey on watch here. Lululemon as well. Shout out to Nick W. in the chat. I don't usually look at the chat in the main show, but Bears vs. Bulls had tagged me like, hey, can you look into this Lululemon story? There was something about like the CEO or one of the main people in Lululemon bought like $1 million worth of shares, which is pretty insignificant for Lulu. Lulu didn't react much to it, but it gave it volume. So I had eyes on that. So I want to shout out Nick W. for that. Lulu at that key level, off which I love for that long, that 253. I want to short this more than I can taste it, but it's below $1 million volume, so I'll wait for that move. Let's see what this market gives us, Sharif.
Okay, I just want to echo what Bears versus Bulls threw in there in the chat. The voting booth is now open. Vote, vote, vote. Essentially, what I'm telling you is the OB is on the desk today with Neil. They're going to be locked and loaded at that 2 o'clock hour. And so if you want them to analyze your stocks, give you their opinion. Do they like it long? Do they like it short? Do they like it in general? Throw your ticker into the chat right now. It's super easy. ! Type in join. Then that space bar, then the $sign, and then throw in the ticker of your choice. Vote every day between now, essentially 11 o'clock, and 1:50. Cuts off 10 minutes before the end of the show. Let's get to this latest pop right here. 11 o'clock hits Ram, and then boom, we hit a new high, guys. On the day right there into 18,650. I mean, we literally topping to this is your prototypical topping tail candle if it closes this way. And it did close this way. Let's see what we do now after this. Do we bump up back into 18.6 or do we make a new low below 18.5? We did hold up just ahead of that 500-point mark at 18.505. Obviously, that is the low on the day, overnight or otherwise. And then we got up into 18.645 over here. But that was quite short-lived. You can see that reflected on some of the Mag 7 names here. Softy was at 402, even below 401.98, and it popped up into 405 and a quarter, quick as you like. But it's also down quick as you like. So we'll keep tabs on some of these Mag 7 names and the market in general, and then see what's afoot, whether we're going to take this market long or short. Right now, though, I can promise you it looks quite short biased. There's a lot of small cap gappers, some of them really breaking down and not tradable at the moment, but we will talk about that in a hot second. But before that, we're going to talk about speed lines. Oh, this is for you, my man. I thought I did this lesson the entire time. I was just singing, I don't know, Mi Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, because that's Obi's anthem. So that's
that was both
there.
your jams.
Well, I've got other jams too there, but I like it.
That's true. That's true.
All right, guys. So introduction into these speed lines. What are they? So speed lines essentially are advanced concepts in technical analysis and a variation of trend lines, often used here to measure the rate of ascent or descent, going up or down. And John J. Murphy basically discusses them in his textbook on the technical analysis of the financial markets. And he talks about them in the context of determining whether the trend is likely to continue, reverse, based on the speed of the movement. So let's just talk about them right away. So as we just alluded to, speed lines are a series of diagonal lines that are drawn from significant highs or lows on a chart. Significant highs or lows, not where you want to draw the high and low, okay? Unlike, though, typical trend lines that connect reaction highs and lows, speed lines are designed to account for the acceleration or deceleration of the trend. They provide you with dynamic ways to monitor the pace at which prices are moving in any given direction. This is kind of what they look like. Super rudimentary. Haven't explained what these lines do quite yet, but I just want to give you a visualization. This would be the obvious area low. This would be the obvious area high. And you would draw speed lines based on, you're supposed to draw them based on, pronounced highs and lows. All right? So constructing these speed lines, let's talk about some rules, right? Speed lines, like as I mentioned, are drawn by first identifying the highest or the lowest point in the trend, either a peak on a downtrend or a trough on an uptrend, okay? From this key point, 3 lines are then drawn to intercept the price at distinct percentage level. Typically 33 and 66% are those percentage levels, and I'll show you exactly what I mean in a second, okay? This provides essentially a visual representation of how fast or how slow the trend is moving. So here's a look. So this is your obvious area trough. What you want to do then is you want to gauge the obvious area trough and the obvious area crest. And then you're going to basically say, okay, so this is my 0 and this is my 100. Where is my 66% retracement off that 100? You gauge that. Or you can do 33, you can do it the opposite way. I would do 66, and then it doesn't really matter. Essentially, it's 66 and 33. So you base a third of a retracement down here, and then 2/3 of a retracement down here. And that's based on the area crest. So you know, if you were to pull back from this $120 level on Linar, that the 33% retracement would just be a skosh below 90. So then you would draw a trend line from the area trough through the intersecting area where it would be a 1/3 retracement. You would do the exact same thing for the 66% retracement. So down 2/3 of the way down from top to bottom would be over here. You draw the trend line through there. Super simple to do. And then we're going to talk about how to actually use them in a second. But I just hope that everybody kind of gets that. And the exact same thing works when you're doing the short. Here's a look at Nike. So obvious area crest over here, this is the short. So you're looking at that 180. Obvious area trough right there at that 80 level. Wow, this thing dropped $100. Jeez, right. So then from your 0 to your 100, you then look back, you say, okay, so from my 100 point area over here, if I was to pop back up 1/3 of the way, where would that be on the chart? Right there. So you draw a line through the initial area crest into that 33 area. And you do the exact same thing with 66. So that's exactly how you do these speed lines. Gets a little bit more nuanced, especially with percentages, but the ones that are mostly used by technicians are 33 and 66. So what's the purpose of these speed lines? What are we using them for? Now we know how to do them, but like, what are we actually gauging here? So the main purpose... The main purpose of the speed lines is to determine the strength of the trend. They help traders recognize, essentially, when a trend is accelerating too quickly or decelerating too quickly, which may signal to you an upcoming reversal or correction. The concept is useful for dynamic markets, essentially, where trends don't move in a steady, nice way, right? So you're going to have to basically have some assistance here from technical analysis. So what are the practical applications of these speed lines in trading? I think that's what we're all looking for, the practical application. How can we actually use them? Well, the first way we'll submit to you guys is using them to identify reversals. So speed lines provide clues as to whether the trend may reverse. For example, when the price breaks through the first speed line at that 33% retracement, it indicates that the trend is losing momentum. Then if the price then continues to go down and then falls below the second line at that 66% retracement, you should be on the lookout for a full reversal because it could be imminent, according to the textbook. This can help traders determine from a practical perspective when to exit a position or tighten up your stops. So that's how one of the first ways we use these speed lines from an everyday trading practical perspective. And here's kind of the look. There's your area trough. There's your area crest. You draw all the right lines and you draw your speed lines. And then boom, you break through the third. Boom, you break through 2/3. And then you're looking at blood. So you're clearly here in a bit of a downtrend. You still haven't broken those lows, but you could be well on your way. So that's what we're looking for there. Decided break through that 2/3. You should be on the lookout for an all-out reversal. It's not the only way to use them, though. We just talked about adjusting or identifying reversals. Now we can talk about adjusting positions. So in an uptrend, when the price action moves steeply above that 33 or that 66, depending on where it is on the chart, traders may expect, a small correction or a decent correction there, and thus reduce the long positions or look to take profits. However, in a downtrend, if prices decline sharply through these lines, it signals a potential selling opportunity, not like a profit taking opportunity, but get out of it completely because the trend is changing, as traders may increase their short positions at that area. Conversely, if the price respects the speed lines and doesn't breach them without breaking through, it provides confirmation that the trend is strong and that traders should or could, if they decide, hold on to the positions or even add to them, John J. Murphy says, if you really want to be aggressive. So that's the look there. So if you get the decided breach through one, you should be on the lookout for a possible breakdown. You get it through the 66, you're looking for a reversal. But if the lines are respected, you could hold on to your positions or even add to them. But you're looking for corrections. So it's totally fine for it to break that 66, reject off 33, come back down, test 66 again before breaking 33. So you can also use these speed lines to adapt them to changing trends. So speed lines obviously help traders avoid prematurely exiting a trade by confirming that the trend's pace is still intact. They also offer, though, signals for adapting trading plans when the price action deviates significantly from the established lines, which essentially is ensuring flexibility in trading decisions. And I don't know about you, but I like that. For instance, when the price fails to break through any speed line, this indicates strong momentum, obviously, and further trend continuation. So if you come back and you test that 33% speed line, you don't even get a break through it into 66 or anywhere in between 33 and 66, well, then that's saying to you that the trend line, the trend is awfully strong and that there's finding support at 33%. Last but not least, in terms of practical uses of these speed lines, you can incorporate them with other indicators. And the speed lines work best in conjunction with other tools such as moving averages, oscillators like RSI, and obviously, it goes without saying, support and resistance levels. For example, if the price breaks through a speed line and the RSI it shows overbought conditions, would strengthen the case for a possible reversal. So you break through that 66% on the way down, but we're in overbought territory still for some reason, I guess. Then it could make a higher probability set up to the short side here. So in conclusion, speed lines are effective tools for gauging momentum and the sustainability of a trend. As with all technical tools, though, and all technical indicators, they're best used in combination with other methods and other tools for analysis. And traders certainly can incorporate speed lines into their trading plans by using them to ID when the trend are likely to continue in reverse. Fine-tune your entry and your exit positions and manage risk, obviously, through better stop placements. I hope everybody has a fantastic Friday and prints up a storm of dare.
Yeah, shout out, thank you so much there to Sharif for that awesome lesson of the day. Shout out also, it's nice that we have Speedline Day when Opie is also here with us. So shout out to Rick Ross speeding. I am hoping the SPY will be speeding more to the downside because I did get short here on the SPY at 542. I said, I guess a little bit below. I said I have 2 trades I like here on the SPY, my 2 playbook trades. The only 2. One of them is whole dollar breakdowns. The other one is, okay, we're going to get our low day break here. Let's see. The other one is areas of interest here at play. 542.40s was the area I really liked. Wasn't able to get involved there. Said, okay, Darcy, we do 542s. We broke below. Didn't get involved exactly where we wanted to. I'm risking 30 cents here. I'm risking to like 542.20s because that was an area I also watched on the book. We were waffling a lot there between 542.20, 542.40. Let's see what kind of chop and churn we get here, Sharif. We could be getting a bit of a bounce here in the market. I'm a little conflicted too because I find NVIDIA to actually look a bit bullish here. And I'll explain why in a minute because I'm sure there might be, some shock and horror at that statement. But the SPY to me looks a little bit bearish. Let's see if this can get to the downside in honor of my outfit. No, I'm joking. Guys, I promise I did pick out this outfit last night. I had no idea what the market was going to do. I was just like, oh, I got my nails done. They're red. Wear red today. And the market apparently enjoyed my outfit. So shout out to, it's funny, Wayne ran into me in the hallway and he's like, oh, is that why Broadcom's down? I was like, I don't know, maybe. Okay, we're gonna get out. We're gonna get out 10% here, 541s, just because, like I said, whole dollars matter to me. I'm here on the SPY. Let's see what we get going on here. I want to just let this thing ride a little bit to the downside, if I may. I want to. Okay, there we go, Sharif.
Get it, Adara.
We just got out here, third of the position. We got short, 541.90. What was that third? 541s. Let's keep it coming over here. I'm watching to see here. Really, the only area that I saw was interesting. If we get above that previous low of day, 541.55s, I'll get out. I'll take out my last third. I'm cool with that. But if we don't, I'm actually willing to let this ride a little bit because I think that there is a lot of weakness right now in that SPY. I also rescind my comment about NVIDIA looking bullish. I just took a plunge there with the rest of the market. Okay, we're out of the rest of this. I couldn't even get filled there. Let's see what's going on there. Please just punch without this trade went. Should have executed that last, out a lot better than I did. But that's what journaling's for. We're going to learn, we're going to reflect, we're going to adapt, react, readapt, act. Shout out to Michael Scott in the office. Took 23 cents with the position and then 90 with the first part.
Wow.
So if we get back into that interesting area, 541.55, I love interactions with previous days highs, previous days lows. That's not always going to work, but there was one day, I think the only trades I took all day was just Tesla was in an uptrend or downtrend, and I would just get involved with all the previous levels. Stuff like that can work if you're on it, if you're paying attention to it. Again, I'm not trying to blanket statement because things can work differently. I was also involved in the Eli Lilly short that I clearly just got wicked out of because, she's coming home to the downside. This is heartbreaking. Oh, I got out top wick. I should have been a little more aggressive with the risk here. I got short 897s. Basically, like I said, I initially long Lilly above 900. When we could not break back above that 903 area, I was like, cool. This 895 was an area if you go back to earnings. And also, Lilly 895 is an area that I liked as well, just because look at this trough. I was like, if we break below that, or she blows, I should have risked at least $2 here. I ended up risking, I think it was $1.75, because I was trying to make minimum $4. Or minimum, I guess, I don't think I think there's probably some issues with the planning of this trade here as well, to be fair. But yeah, I'd be willing to get short again if we stay below this 9 EMA. We're still making lower highs. I think I definitely need to acknowledge that I should have planned this better. I think I initially wanted 899s and I was like, oh, that's a 2-to-1 risk to reward because I would have risked into 901s. That's cool, but this is a 1-to-1, so I don't necessarily love what was going on there with regards to the planning. Apple below low of days, so that actually could be a decent push back into 221.20s. But it's interesting, some of these names, they're weak, but they're still making higher lows. I'm not talking about you, Lily. I'm talking about SMCI. SMCI, again, not like this is the strongest name in the market or anything. It's really not had a downgrade today. Big price target decrease. But yeah, look at us trying to kind of hold some kind of higher low, maybe. To be fair, we're below 395. 395 was an area that we bounced off a little bit here today, but also it was an area of interest when we had those big moves down with the Hindenburg short report, but then the big move last Wednesday when we had the company being like, yeah, we're delaying our annual report. So some green coming into this year book, some, you know, tightness in this year bid. Let's see what happens. Really proud of what I did with that SPY trade, but you know, it's only one trade. Where's the next trade? We'll find out, and I know how you can.
Tired of being late to the trade era? I think you're good. Always playing catch up in the market. Are you missing out of the big move because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is at your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everybody else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If you are, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. All right, let's look over here. I'm in a position, I don't know why my chair keeps going down. BLMZ, this one was awfully strong on the day. It is breaking down a little bit now. So I got into an initial position at the first area that I like. I have some planned DCAs here. The first area is this 230 area, because it did have a bit of a consolidation area bottom there, as well as almost a consolidation area, not an area top, sorry, but an area resistance level right at that 228 from that candle right at 10 o'clock. So got in initially here, smallest position that I can muster. This one is a planned DCA right in front of this consolidation area top at that 220 level. So if we don't get it over here, I'd rather not stop out and then get back in again. I'd rather just add to the position. So we're going to be looking at DCA 222, what, you know, just might as well choose some sort of level ahead of that 1/5 of a dollar. We're looking there to add on this bad boy. It is at or a little bit below the 10 exponential on the 5. In fact, it's making its way into VWAP, right? So I'm looking for this area consolidation area top to hold on BLMZ, but ultimately the volume weighted average price is at 205. I don't think I'm going to be holding it all the way down there should it make its way into 205, but if I get stopped out and it holds up there, absolutely willing to get back in because BLMZ will be tradable so as a breakout trade long, so long as it's above the volume weighted average price. Let me give you some deets on this one. It's up 187% today. It's done about 113 million shares and it's got a market cap of about $31 million. I'm not seeing too much information on it. Let's bring down trade ideas, see if they've got something over here because my platform is coming up empty. BLMZ. Oops. BLMZ. Let's go. All right. Trade idea says a short float of a float of 1.25 million, but we don't have a short float, sadly, for this one. So Blooms Incorporated, we're not able to get as much information on it as I typically would like. So keeping my eye on this one, so long as it holds. But this one is making moves now. BENF was a waffler all morning long, whether it was in the pre-market when it popped up there at 6 o'clock and then basically retraced right back down, or at 7 a.m. when it popped up and has a very, very wide range per candle, and then it did nothing at the open. For whatever reason, though, getting a huge volume surge here, over 8 million shares traded on this 1 5-minute candle. For real, we're at 9.2 million shares here on this bad boy, right at this 11:20 candle, breaking through the pre-market high, breaking through after the bell high. 333 now is the high of day as it traces back down to that 3 teens. Right now, BENF, let me give you the deets on this one. It's $13.33 million market cap. The shares trade on the day about 76 million or thereabouts, and a float of 1.7 million shares. And the short float on it, 5.69%, says trade ideas. So not definitely not as big as we have seen in the past. But BENF here, Dare, deserves its own trading screen.
It does, and I'm happy you're going to benefit it by giving it one.
Ooh.
My chart just closed up there, so I'm going to see. Yeah, I'm still looking at some of these names here. SMCI, I like around 390s, but not enough to, I don't have anything super setting up right now. SPY, okay, my SPY chart keeps deleting itself, so I'll pull up my side chart. This is like the second time this happened today. It's only my SPY. So this is a little disheartening. I like this long here. Again, sorry, I wish you guys could see it. So I said 541.50s. That was an area that I thought was like pretty interesting, right? Because it was previous low day. Should I get a long 541.50s? I do. And then I only risk 15 cents for reasons. With that scalp, you would have made like that move back into 542, which is where I want to take my profit. So I need to work on that. The book was not bearish enough to really justify what I did there. And it is a little bit hard to when you're trading now, basically without a chart, because I don't know why my SPY chart is doing this. But thank you, SPY chart. Appreciate you. what I think, yeah, it's just the SPY here. Let me see if there's any other. You know what's interesting too? We have the rest of the market moving down, but some of these names, these chip names, especially Sharif, that started really weak, trying to curl up. I talked about SPCE, and I'm gonna like stop. You know, I'm gonna save you guys the trouble of having to hear me go on about SPCE again. I like it at 390s. I think it'll be interesting to see what we do at 395. However, you know what's really interesting here is Broadcom. Broadcom is broadly stronger right now, I think, than some of these other names. And I don't mean by percentage. Obviously, it's down 9.4%. The eyeballs are telling me that. But the eyeballs are also telling me we're bouncing off 138.40s. 138.40s was a level I liked. I'll go on the 15-minute to see if I can show you. Look at that 15-minute chart, 130. I guess it was 137.40s. The point I'm trying to make is here, we have these... like I said too, sometimes the cent level is interesting to me. So it's like 137.40s, 138.40s, 139.40s. If you look at enough book, you notice there's certain levels that the stocks will have the magnetism to, even on the book and not just on the chart. So I thought that's pretty interesting. AVGO though, I love these higher lows. I love no matter what the level is, it's clear there's support here, right? Just above that 137. So I actually like this as a long. I'm gonna go long, 138.40 if I do this. And then I would be risking here into 138. We'd be interested in at least 140, so I think the risk to reward there makes sense. Let's see if we can hold 138.40s. Look at us bounce off there again. Let's do 41s here. Let's start a decent size position, and let's get it going, Sharif. Let's see what we got here on Broadcom. Lily also tried to break up 900. I'd be interested, but like right now you're kind of chopping and churning, and I'm really trying to learn. Shout out to Raider Trader, something he said once that was pretty pivotal in my opinion. I don't know why I always say pivotal accidentally. It's pivotal. In my opinion, is that like there's all these opportunities in the market, try to find the one that's they're most active. Broadcom day one earnings is going to be a lot spicier than Lily flip it and flop it. So unless it breaks 895, in which case I would like all of the smoke and its cousin.
Ooh,
how are you doing?
I like that. I'm in BENF and BLMZ. BENF is going to have to hold this general 3 area for me to stay interested. We're going to give this one the old college try for a 3 hold. If it doesn't hold, I'm gonzino. So we're already out of the money on this one about 6 pennies. So it's going to have to reclaim that level. We're in the money on BLMZ, but it's finding issues at $2.40. I'm looking to wet my beak just in front of that $0.50. It looks like, though, a head and shoulders could be setting up here. And we do have an uptrend to support the move. So I need to be alive to this. I don't have to have, a umpteen amount of confirmation bias or anything like that, but I just need to be alive to the fact that something akin or similar to a head and shoulders, albeit on the 1 minute, is setting up so that if the trend reversal comes in fast and furious, I'm aware of the pattern and can act accordingly. So keeping my eye on BLMZ up, 200%, 195 some odd percent. BENF, zigging and zagging here with $3. If this one breaks the 290 area to have my stop to get out, so we'll take a bit of a hit on that one if it doesn't hold. Hey man, we're gonna give this one the try. I had a lot of fun trading these small cappers yesterday, and there's a few setting up today, not that many. But we'll give them the old college try. So holding on to BENF below 3, but not by that much at the moment. If it breaks 290, that's when I end the trade. BLMZ, it's in the money, but it's really having trouble with this 40 penny area. I'll look to de-risk here in front of 50. Oh, we got super chat. Tura my bear. $1 in the money on a firm since I called it dump. Shout out to you, my man. Hope you're printing up storms on that side of the screen. Let's have a look at what firm is doing on the day. It didn't have, I didn't really have anything on that today. I don't think it really had a catalyst, but it's looking like a kind of like a bull flag here setting up. Obviously market weakness lately. Yeah, I know, I get it, but look, it's got a decent move up. I mean, it's at the 10 exponential on the daily. It really hasn't broken down too much off that 45. Where are we trading today? 38 and change. So on the daily, it doesn't look bad. Let's have a look what the 5 minute is. So my man called it. I don't know when he called it, but it's basically gone green to red on the day with a topping tail through that 41.25. And now we're knocking the door of 38.25. So a bit of a tougher look there for AFRM on the day. This also kind of looks like a bit like a head and shoulders, but maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see here or there. So what's your look?
Yeah, so Broadcom, I have a strategy here and I want to talk about it because I'm aware I am long a name that I think looks like hit SSR, and I know I've said in the past I have just the worst experiences with going long SSR names. Y'all saw me. No, I'm joking. Actually, I don't know why I'm being like so hard on myself. The dollar trade I made is fine. I did get shut down with Snowflake a couple weeks ago, but that was unrelated. I shouldn't have even been trading that. This AVGO though, I love this look, and the more I look at this book, the more I like it, which is always like a good sign, right? When you're not like getting like all heebie-jeebie. I have confidence in this trade. Someone in the chat was saying this market needs some confidence today. I think the traders in the market just need to have the confidence in themselves, right? To execute. Because I know when we have these moves to the downside, I feel it in myself, I feel the same way. It's kind of a different market to trade, right? So not always sure how you feel with that in mind, but basically what I'm trying to do here is I have a series. What I'm going to be doing is we're going to be scalping things out, and then I'm going to be adding. So got involved at 138.40s. Initially, we wicked below it, then we came right back, so I put my order right back in. Took about that move there to that previous area of resistance. I'm going to be adding if we get back below 138.50s. It does not look like we will. Might have taken a little bit of that position out early, but if we come back to bounce off that area, got out like 70s, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I'm not trading it for P&L. I'm trading for progress, and I'm trading for learning, Sharif. And we are currently about 60 cents in the money here on this Broadcom. With that in mind, another level I'd like for an add, because like I said, guys, I've really been trying to be a little bit more aggressive about adding within reason. If we get above this wick here at where is this 139.15s, I would love that look. That would be where I'd like to add. That was the same, I guess, kind of principle with me getting above that wick there at 870, so that's going to be what we're trying to do here. Let me look at this 1 minute chart so we can kind of get a sense. Because like I said, one of the things I'm still working on is moving my stop as I'm in the trade. I think right now, as long as we stay above that 138.70s area, I'm cool with that. Honestly, usually I'm pretty cool with the break even because like I said, as long as I'm not trading P&L, I feel like that the progress has been going decently with that in mind. So AVGO, let's see how far you can AVGO to the upside. That's what we're going to be doing here on AVGO. CMG, which I mentioned on the sector recap because it is oddly strong, and I didn't see any catalyst on it. I guess that everyone's using their Brian Nichols to put them into this stock because he actually starts his tenure at CEO on Monday. So true story there. Keep an eye out for September 9th for some Brian. But right, sorry, Brian, I called you that. Look at this 53.70 level here, trying to push up above. Was it the 15-minute there was something I liked in the 15-minute here on the Chipotle one. Shout out to Sharif. Oh yeah, there it is. 53.70. Oh my gosh, this is actually level. We bounced off yesterday's high. This is a crazy look here on CMD. It is on my side chart for good reason. We'll see what happens here. AVGO actually holding up remarkably well. I am going to risk this here into break even. I'm cool with that, and I'll be adding because I think we're going to get here into 70s. What I've noticed too is even if we have a move down in the queues, Broadcom's like, yeah, cool story, bro. I'm going to hold on to 138.40s. So I do feel really bullish about this as long as we hold into 138.40s. I'm about to get 81s, which is just above that 75 area I like. We are making higher lows here on the Broadcom one. I will continue to add as we push to the upside. I really would, as I said, though, I'd love to see us break above VWAP into that above 139.15. And I want all the smoke at 140s. And I will stop ranting now. Also, guys, vote for your tickers, exclamation point, join, space, $ ticker. You want Obi to look at tickers for you? You want Neil to look at tickers for you? Oh boy, oh girl, oh person, oh cat, oh dog. You can let us know there in that chat. Shout out to Obi and to all of you, everyone here. How are you doing?
Sounds good. I added here at 215 on BLMZ, a little bit lower than where I wanted to, but that's okay. It does hold a volume weighted average price, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this one because VWAP's at 206. So it's close enough to $2 for me to actually use the whole dollar as my level. So I'm looking to actually add in front of 2, and then the 2 is going to be basically the line in the sand. So if it doesn't hold up at that $2, that's going to be as good as it gets for me on this one. So we'll put the stop in place for now, and we're going to let this one cook if it needs to. So this one holding up generally, but I am alive to this head and shoulders pattern. We'll see if VWAP ends up being anything of import on this one. I saw the world's greatest mod there in the chat vote for Mara. And, you know, the Mara indicator sits behind me, and he's got his hands on his head right now. And he's straight chilling. We were talking about this before the show started. Really interesting on Mara. You guys saw me point out that $15 area, talk about the 3-period rule, the 3% rule. Ooh, Mara's really putting that to the test because I think we're a couple of days now below that $15 area. So if we hold up this way, that's not going to be good for the longs on Mara, if anybody's holding this long. I mean, obviously, it's been a little bit disconnected from the movement with crypto as of late because, you know, with the halving event that came in April, makes it a little bit harder to do that whole thing. So we'll keep an eye on Mara over here. But as Adara was saying, if you guys have a stock you want to vote for, there's only one segment per day on this here show where you can have your say, and that's the afternoon rundown. So make sure you're getting your money's worth, so to speak, and getting the OB, the one. He is Kenob, or it's the OB. He is the one, Kenob. And the Neil, baby. He's here, and they'll be looking at those tickers for you. So make sure to get that in. All right, let's have a look at these other names that I'm still in at the moment. Still in BLMZ, nothing doing there, packing my patience. This one's starting to catch a bit of a bid. BENF, after, bamboozling me somewhat over here and cutting me up a little bit, looking like it found its footing at that 280 area. And there is a topping tail area candle that takes us into 280 for support. Should have been more alive to that, was not. Let's see, though, if we're able to weasel above 3 again, maybe start curling, get into that high a day at 333. So we'll basically pack our patience and see if we can extract some money from this bad boy over here, because it's been taking money from us so far. BENF, the bamboozler that it is so far. BLMZ still do nothing. What are you guys looking at? Any small cap gappers? Angry Bear says he's going long Intel. All right, he wants you to go long with him. Haven't had a look at Intel on the day. Let's have a look and see what it's doing over here. It's down about a little bit less than 3% on the day. Lots of headlines today for Intel, whether Qualcomm related or whether otherwise. What was the other headline?
Mobileye.
Qualcomm, and then there was the other one of what? Was
Mobileye.
Qualcomm and what?
Mobileye.
Mobileye, thank you. I thought you were saying, oh boy. Mobileye, yeah, they're looking to divest Mobileye, about 88% of the position that they have there. They want to get rid of it. That'll be decided at the Mobileye shareholder meeting, or not shareholder meeting, board meeting, excuse me, I think next week or later this month. So interesting play that could take. Mobileye has been a bit of a tough hold as of late. We'll have to see if it can catch a bit of a bounce there. So that's the look. In 2 positions, nothing doing at the moment for either. How's your look there, Adara?
Yeah, I got out of Broadcom. I know I said I was going to wait there for a break even, but basically, I said I found, I think what's helped me this week a lot, and what helped me, I was really proud of that Lily trade I had yesterday where I got out basically at, like, it didn't get any higher after that point and I was in a long. What helped me there is trusting what I saw in the book. The book on Broadcom was not the stuff of dreams. I'll put it that way. We had this wick, and to be clear, we didn't actually get above this level. I was watching the book. We got like about, so this wick here, it was like 139.15s. We got to like 139.10s. We couldn't break above that. And I was like, Adara, last time you saw that in Dollar Tree, you saw that in Snowflake, both times where you had longs that would have been profitable had you gotten out at that resistance instead of being like, oh, it'll break above, it'll break above. So I was like, you know what? Get out here if we can't really hold back above that 138.70 or 138.80s. I got out 138.75s. To be clear, we are still holding above 138.40s, so that look was not bad at all, but I do stand by my decision to leave. I trusted what I saw in the book, didn't like it. Took probably like, I don't know, it was a 20-cent move, but like I said, I'm really not trading it for P&L. I'm trading it because I like it, and for that reason, I was like, for the process, Adara, you should be scalping out. You should just be getting out. So that's what I did with this AVGO. Still cannot really break decisively above 80s, so I stand by that decision. You have to trust what you see. Lily, hello. Lily, that 895 level, strong as all heck on the Mademoiselle, because look at this. We never got below it. I mean, we wicked below it here. It's at 894 as we call right back up. If Lily can break above this area that we've now had kind of as wick resistance 3 times on the 5-minute, and that's going to be 903, I would actually maybe like it as a long here. Look at these volume candles. With the exception of that big floosh down in the market, we're having green volume, overwhelming red. We're 1.32 million shares in Lily, and it's not even 12 p.m. That's a lot of volume for Mademoiselle. Ooh. I know how she works. I know how she moves. So I'll be watching this here. Gonna wait and see what happens. Gonna be patient. Happy with what I did with Broadcom. Generally happy with what I did with the SPY, except for not giving myself enough of a stop with that second trade. But it's all good, baby. You're gonna have to take trades one day at a time. It's not all gonna be a dream, but you can try. People did say apparently they also thought I was saying oh boy and not Mobley.
I know,
oh boy.
I saw. It's all good.
Pretty funny. It's all good there. Yeah, what else are people looking at? Amazon 173 long, says David Clark. Yeah, I mean, shout out to, speaking of oh boy, make sure you vote for your ticker there, guys, if you have anything you would like us to look at. Okay, so Amazon here, 173. Right now we're just okay.
Blue Jays.
I like this 173 area, or I guess actually, I think more specifically 173.20 is kind of interesting to me. That is a level that we had as hard support. We have this massive bearish candle, right? Then we have what I would call this an umbrella handle. We floosh to the downside. But what I've also noticed sometimes, I think this L8 wave thing, things come in threes. We have one floosh down, two floosh down, maybe a third. This one could be maybe a move in the different directions. I know when you have these on the upside, generally sometimes you can have a bit of a reversion. So let's see if we revert to the upside. As we always say here, we hope you print David Clark, and you've made me notice this 173.20 level on Amazon. So I appreciate that. Amazon on watch here. A lot of other things still watching, but I'm waiting till I have the right move. If EVGO does break above VWAP, and more specifically into that 139.15 level, I might be interested, but I'm going to wait for now. How are you doing?
I got cut up here on BENF. I'm just not getting a good read. I'm trying to take it ahead of the 10 exponential. I think that that's my mistake, is because it was well extended off the 10 with that big volume candle that came in at 1120. It was about over 10 million shares. So it was due for a mean reversion there because it was just so extended off the 10. I wasn't alive to that fact and I paid for it. So that's the look there. Now I'm going to be a little bit shy with this one. I got to tell you the truth. Unless it really does a VWAP hold right at that 260 area, because that's where VWAP's showing up on my chart, I think I'm going to have to steer clear of this one because I don't have a read. So there's just one more shot I'm going to give to BENF. It's a good looker, 82%. It's got all the right things beside its name, the low float, the decent short float, yada, yada, yada. But I'm just going to wait for the back end, as Neil likes to say, get it to prove to you that it's going to hold up at these levels, stay above VWAP, then we can get involved. Hopefully it doesn't skyrocket off the levels and basically not leave me an opportunity to get in. So BENF, leaving that for a sec, but we're going to keep it on the side chart and see what else we can do with it. Now, this is the one that I'm a little concerned with here. It hasn't broken down below any technical levels, but the volume starting to drop off here on BLMZ, not BENF. BLMZ, a bit of, look, I got a good entry here. It seems to be holding into my entry. I'm still above the $2 area, still above VWAP, but this stair stepping down and this head and shoulders like pattern preceded by a big move up has me concerned. And the fact that no volume is coming in to at least test highs, like at least get up into that $2.30 area to test this previous area of resistance. It's not even doing that. It's in fact having trouble with 220. So I'm alive to that as well. Just about how I execute on the trade is going to be the question here. The only reason I'm really holding, I don't want to say holding out hope, but waiting to see what this one does is still above $2, still above VWAP, but for how long? That's kind of my question to myself there. And so we're going to have to find out what the sitch is. Now, as I say that, I'm seeing a bottoming tail candle come in on BENF right off the 10 exponential. So right off that 268, 267 pops up into that 280. That's not enough for me to weasel in here. I'm going to need to see a little bit more, maybe some green candles for once on BENF after four successive red candles in a row. So on the 5 minute, that's what I'm talking about. I don't even think I went over my small cap gappers. There's not a whole lot. These are the two that I'm trading. MCRB, I mean, it had its moment in the sun here at 10:30, then gave up the ghost at the $1 trade, but it's trying to work its way back into $1. MCRB, there's a trade possibly to be had here at $1, whether short or otherwise. WHLR is a good percentage winner on the day, but when you look at the chart, it's tough. It really had its best moment at 4 a.m. It had a great day yesterday. We already know WHLR had a great day, but the real move right was the beginning of the pre-market trade. This thing opened up at 4 3/4, and within about 20 minutes, it was at $15. And so it basically has been selling off since that time. Now, was this on high volume? About 280,000, 200,000, 134, 200. So nothing even above 500,000 shares. But you don't expect that at 4 a.m. At least I don't. If anything, this one seems like it might be holding up here at this 710 area. Seems to be a lot of interactions with this here area on WHLR. Nothing really for me, though, on either of these names, as the small cap gappers today don't look as strong as they did yesterday. LASE Lace here trying to work its way back above the volume weighted average price to get tradable again. It had a good little nice bump up there at 9:30. It goes, I don't want to say went green or red, but all these topping tail candles through that 6.5, 6 2/3, and then we come down to test 560. However, since that time though, incrementally higher lows to look what looks to be a possible flat top break through that 6 1/5, 6 1/4, essentially, cordoned off there by the volume weighted average price. So you could say higher lows with that flat top. Now we're getting that break. So I'll have to keep an eye on LASE. Let me see what the details on this are. Here we go. So the company is about 78 or 77 and change $1 million market cap. The volume on the day is not that much, 2 3/4 million shares. And the float for this, about 4 million, a little bit less than 4 million. And then let's check out the short float, 7.44%. So not bad short float there. This one could squeeze if it catches the right bid and triggers out the wrong short sellers at the right price. So LASE, I guess now it's back on watch. NVD looks fantastic, but when you try to load it up on our system, it doesn't pop up. So untradeable on our system but at the moment, but doing a nice little move here. Not much in the way of an actual move, 226 the low, 255 the high, but look at the respect for the 10 exponential on NVD. Nothing really for me to do here. Adara.
Yeah, so I have thoughts. I have things that I'm looking at. So basically, I did try a trade here in Lily, and I fully stand by this. I was looking on the book, and we were holding $900.41 in just a really beautiful way on the bid. And then we creep on the ask, go, oh, hey, hello. I was like, okay, I see you. I went long here. I basically, the second I got in, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I thought you said you weren't going to do that. and then we had a bit of a move down here on the SPY, and I was like, you know what, Adara, just let it be. Took lost like $1 on this. I was willing to risk $1.50, so you know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Sometimes just, you see something you really like, and to be clear, I did love that hold. I do stand by how I felt about that, the way that was holding, but sometimes your opinion changes, and I think you have to really honor that. You obviously want to follow your stops, want to follow your rules, but sometimes, like I said, for me, trusting the book, I find I get into the most trouble when I don't trust what I see in the order book. So in this case, I was like, I loved it initially. Then when we had a bit of a push down in the SPY, I said, Adara, you gotta forget it. So that's all good there. AVGO. Okay. I love this. I am really sad I missed my 138.40 short because I was busy doing whatever with Lily. And again, I'm not going to, continue to belabor that point. I did it. It happened. Didn't work out. Where's the next trade? It could be Broadcom. Because I'm happy I got it where I did here. I realized, hey, that 139 breakout looks elusive at best. I'm going to wait here for an entry till I see what we do at 138.40. Again, I know I missed my first pop at that, but that level was a huge level of support. We'd wick below that and come right back up. So I trust 138.40. That is the level for me on my Broadcom. Then I risk it into 138.70. Risking 30 cents. I would like at least a break into 138. So to me, that's realistic. I know I could get short 138, but I want to make sure this isn't a higher low trying to form because we already have had some higher lows. That is my thesis on Broadcom. There's something else I want to shout out to. I saw something in the chat I forget exactly what the wording of it is, but sometimes it's it's always better if you can get the move the first time. Sure, it'd be awesome if we got all the trades exactly the first time you hit them, right? But like I said, I find sometimes the trades are even sweeter when you get it after having a couple hits. You had it, didn't work out perfectly the last couple times, but you managed your risk appropriately on the losses. You came back, and you came back swinging. That's what I did yesterday in NVIDIA and Meta, and I was able to be up on both those names even though I did take some L's. So as 21 Savage says, take less L's, or I guess take less size in your L's, try to make some more M's. Vote for tickers, guys. Also, yeah, what else are people looking at here? I'm just trying to make sure. I'm okay, wow. SPCE, I know, Adara looking at spready tickers. It's a day that ends in Y. But I accidentally typed in AMCI.
I like that day that ends in Y.
Let's see here. SPCE. Yeah, okay, so SMCI. This is another thing. If I want to trade a spready ticker, Adara, trade one that's in play. Come on now. All jokes aside. But look at, okay, that 388, yes, but also, I don't know why it's clear on my side chart, but there's this wick into 385. And then, is this a 5? I don't know. I can see better on my side chart for whatever reason, but there's a bit of a move down here that we come back up and we continue. The point I'm trying to make is there are some levels here I've definitely missed the better short opportunities here. Short opportunities, I don't know. But I'll still have my eyes out there for some opportunities on SMCI. I do like that 388 that I obviously missed, but if we come back into that, that could get spicy. SPY continuing to just kind of whiffle waffle here. Nice little bottoming tail candle though at 541. My SPY chart's been a little bit, like I said, a little herky jerky. So I'll use my SPY chart. Look at this 541 bottoming tail candle. Will we hold it? I have no idea, but it looks like we're trying not to. But I think that 541 area has been really interesting. 541.50 though, previous low of day. Every time we have some kind of interaction with that, you see some of these S&P 500 names react. That is what I'll say to that SPY chart. MM says, Tesla, are you the market maker? Did you make the market maker? I'm joking. But TSLA, I always have the Tesla book up, so I'm always looking for opportunities there because I find sometimes with Tesla, I'll see stuff that I like in the book before I see it on the chart. Wow. Wow, Tesla 218. Drawing a line there. If Tesla comes back to 218, that's a level for me. I don't really have any other levels. Okay, 218. I like a little bit this 223s. 220.50s. I usually like 221s on Tesla, not just because it's 21 Savage, but also Tesla trying to make some bottoming tail candles here, albeit not on much volume. I think if we hold this, I think if we eclipse that 216.75, and then we eclipse 218, which to me is the biggest level of support resistance on this chart, then we're smooth sailing. Then I want to see what we do with that 220/220.50 area. We've had a wick into that. Then we had a bit of a support resistance flip on that. That'll be an interesting look. Part of me, okay, but this is interesting too. The Q is kind of moving into a new low of day. Tesla fighting here tooth and nail to stay above 216. Tesla might be along for me at 216, and then you just get out at 218. I don't hate that. I'm going to watch the book for a bit longer. Look at that bid. Look at that push below 216, and we come right back swinging. Tesla, don't make me long you 216. I don't want to go long Tesla low of day. I'm really okay longing CrowdStrike low of day. I'll long Lulu low of day, but Tesla's where I draw the line for some reason. But I have drawn some literal lines on this chart. Let's see if any of them come into confluence. Because Sharif, I gotta say, Tesla's making me salivate a bit here at a long potential.
I like it.
How are you doing?
Good. Finally got that break on BLMZ. It was able to break that 220. Now let's see if it can work its way back into highs. At least it's broke. Well, it's not broken the lower highs. That's incorrect. It's going to have to get above this $2.41 area to break that lower high pattern. We'll see if the testing of this neckline here at 230 prevents this from moving up. That's where I've gauged the neckline on the head and shoulders to be, or what I perceive to be a head and shoulder at that 230. It did move up into 228, and then it was met with a wall of sellers. You can't see it right now, but there was a whole lot of selling right there. I suspect there was a bit of an iceberg too at that 228 because I kind of felt that the support or the amount of selling there or the size at the level wasn't really conducive to the amount of prints coming in here on the time and sales. So we'll see. We'll see if this one continues to go. Now it's knocking the door of 230 right at that area where I'm concerned it may reject. This is the neckline. I have my beak wetter above that 230 area, so we're just going to let this one go. If it rejects 230, I end up losing on the trade. I'd like to catch it to see if it can go a little bit more over here. BENF still in this one. Let's see if it holds up at that 270 level. It did find a little bit of support there. It put in a candle to make a new high after a doji candle on the 5, so it had me feeling a little bit bullish on it. But yeah, this one's been a bamboozler. This is the candle I'm looking at. Then the subsequent candle will make a new high. That's going to be my line in the sand, that 270 area. So we'll see if it can hold up above that. Yep, as I suspected, we got that bit of wall of selling at 230. That's the neckline, I guess, resistance level you could call on the head and shoulders pattern. So if it rejects off that, then I'll know what I'm seeing is right, and maybe we can base a trade off that. And that trade for BLMZ will be a neckline break of VWAP to manifest the head and shoulders pattern. So that's what I'd like. If we don't get that continued move up to at least test this area here at around 240, 241, then I'll see how much shorts will cost me on this, but I'll wait until we get the neckline breakdown below $2, and then I'll participate in the short. You can even wait for it to actually, like if it flushes without you, which is totally normal with these small cap gappers, sometimes it comes back up to test that previous area of support. And this time it uses that as resistance. That test for me would likely be at around 206 and change. So we'll see when we get there, and we won't get upset. It just did another 231. Okay, so this time it breached 230, got up into 231. So there seems to be some buying around there, but there seems to be an equal amount of selling because, well, we know why. Because if I'm seeing this pattern, then there's probably umpteen amount of traders who are seeing it as well. Most of them much better than me, who are able to, with more buying power, we're able to manipulate this one a little bit more. So if we get above 241, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. Until then, I will be suspicious of this position, despite the fact that we're in the money on it. Nothing to write home about. Okay, back to BENF. For the moment, it does hold on to that 270 area, which also on the 5-minute is the 10 exponential. So it's done 4 candles now in a row where it's held the 10 exponential. We'll see how long that lasts for. I have my suspicions about this stock, despite the fact that it's up a healthy amount, man, 84%. Who's going to scoff at that? Yep, here we go again with BLMZ. I'm sorry, I'm jumping between one and the other, but I've got to manage both trades. This one now putting in successively lower high candles, albeit on the one in front or south of that $2.30 area. That is my concern, that it gets up to the neckline and then ends the trade, and then I got to go all the way back down into that $2 area before I can either get stopped out or add that beak wetter in front of 205. So we'll have to wait and see. The small caps today, though, a bit ziggy-zaggy, or maybe I'm just not trading them right. One of the two here. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Michel Hebert is talking about GME. Let's have a look at GME. A lot of, not everybody's favorite, but a lot of people's favorites. Brings back the memories of the good times. And I don't know why my chair keeps falling down over here, but GME, not a bad look. Michel Hebert, 2180 low, just got back into Greensville over here above that key area of technical resistance at 2240. 2240, by the way, is the closing print yesterday on GME. You can see the interaction with that level, both as support and resistance yesterday. Today, not factoring as much, to be quite frank with you. Seemed to break down below the closing print quite handily, and then really took it quite handily as well. So unsure exactly how to see this one. As I look on my side chart here, looks like I did get stopped out at BENF for the umpteenth time. So we will take a hit on that one, sadly, but we're still doing okay on BLMZ. We'll see how long that one lasts for it here.
Okay, I have things to talk about on Tesla. And we're mixed emotions here in Tesla, not that we're trading with emotion. And the fact that we're not trading with emotion is arguably why I went long on this in the first place. Let's discuss. So I was like, oh, I'll wait with Tesla. Basically, the second Sharif took over, I was like, punch, because I liked that move up. And I said to Dara, you're not always going to get the exact entry you want. Tesla is setting up here. Risk it into 216s. So I risked into 216s, got long. I want to say something, we're around 216.25, just as I saw that continued momentum. Then I watched this bounce off 216.10s, and by that point I was like, okay, you can maybe breathe. Maybe breathe here. I actually added when we got into 216.70s, because that was that area of previous resistance. I was looking to take out half the position at 217.20s, and that was that area that we kind of chopped and churned around here. That never happened. We never got that fill. We didn't get above 217. In retrospect, should have been prepared for that whole dollar, especially with it being resistance to the 90 MA. Really happy, though, that I tried the trade. This is the most size I've ever taken Tesla live sim or anywhere, and it's because I felt really, really good about it. If we bounce back above 217 on Tesla, or sorry, 216.70, sorry, I would get long 216.70. Arguably, I didn't risk enough, because basically what happened was I saw that break back below 216.60 and I got out. If we get above 217, I'd get long 217, risk it into 216.70. Like, I can live. Let's find out what happens. Freddie, the friendly guy, saying, look at NVDD and SQQQ, please. This market is broken. Look at the 6 months. So much weight to the downside, right? I mean, I find like I guess I can look at NVDD. I don't know if I have NVDD in mind, though, I've kind of noticed, but I can look at NVDA for you, if that helps, and give you some levels there, if you don't mind, because I know, and some of those NVIDIA levered ones, the NVDD I know we don't have. So I'll take a look at that for you. 6 months, let's look at like the month or 6 months, okay. Give me a moment there, Freddie, the friendly guy. I'm still also, by the way, just watching Tesla in case that sets up how I wanted to. Because like I said, Tesla book is always open. I am always reading that book. I'm an avid reader in the librarian. Or librarian in Tesla. So I'm just watching it 216.70s here. NVIDIA on the 6 month. Wow. Thank you for pointing this out, Freddie, the friendly guy. We are here below that key support area of 148, 149, I guess, on this NVDA split adjusted, right? So this is kind of an interesting look here for NVDA, though this is not a split adjusted. I need to find a split adjusted chart for this. Give me a second. I forgot about the NVIDIA split now that impacts things. Also, I am just watching you to punch along Tesla as we speak. Well, NVIDIA, let's go. I'll pull this up on trading view so that we can have a view of it, a trading view of it. Yeah, that looks definitely a bit of a resistance here at that 124 area. And I'll try the SQQs here as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting look for sure here on these. I think NVIDIA, though, I see what you mean. There's some resistance there at 124 on the book. I apologize that my analysis was skewed earlier because I was looking at like a non-split adjusted chart. I'm watching for Tesla, speaking of names that have been split adjusted, because we are going to go long if we stay above that 216. 217s. You guys know what I'm trying to say. We keep seeing higher lows too, so I actually really like this look. And we're seeing higher lows as the Qs continue to be weak. Qs and Tesla don't necessarily always interact anyway, so they're not necessarily, I guess divergence isn't like the best indicator to use if you're looking at Qs versus Tesla compared to like Qs versus other Next 7 names. But Qs actually just making a beautiful, oh, that's a beautiful topping tail candle. As Tesla's like, yeah, I'm gonna break 217, that cool. I'm like, yeah, Tesla, that cool. That very cool, Tesla. We're gonna get long 217. We're gonna get in here with a Scotia, a size 0, 216.99s. If we get back above here, we are just waiting to place that order. Do you mind if I hand it off to you?
Yeah, of course,
deal with the Cybertruck one?
Yeah. We're still looking here at BLMZ. I'm not really doing much I'm not doing much else. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. I'll get it right. I'm still keeping my eyes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm still keeping my eye on this 220 level because it's kind of the area, the resistance flips to support on some of these areas, and that's kind of what it's doing right now. It kind of held that 220 as that resistance area for the better part of 20 minutes, and then weaseled up to 230, where we anticipated we might meet some selling. We haven't put in a newer low. So we're either going to start consolidating and lulling me to sleep, or we're going to make that new low come very soon. So we'll see which one this one wants to choose, which direction this one wants to choose. Right back up into that 2.25 again. I'm still going to wait exactly where I am. I'm not moving down my beak wetters. The trade has to make sense from a setup perspective. And if I'm going to start adjusting the beak wetters, essentially the trade, to fit in with where I find myself, then it's not going to be the look for me. So I'm waiting here for that 230 break. It already did. I mean, like that level at 230 got taken because it did work into 231, but obviously not on a closing basis. So here we go with 230 again. And we're met with some selling again. Keep your eye on my time and sales. My time and sales probably a little bit better than yours. I'm not bragging. It's the program. It's not me. What I can do on my time and sales, which I haven't seen on other platforms, is colorize it and make each print mean something. Here's what that means. So see those orange prints that came in there? Those are above the ask. Somebody just bought aggressively with an order above what was listed here at the top. See those green? Well, that comes in right at the ask. The red comes in right at the bid, but the blue comes below the bid. So when we get umpteen amount of blue coming in and red, well, I know that there's a lot of seller exuberance. When I see a lot of green and a lot of orange, I know there's a lot of buyer exuberance. So it typically works with stocks just like this that are small caps that, tend to get bursts of liquidity aggressively, at random times and intermittently, not consistent. Like most of these ones are not buy programs, right? Like let's be honest, BLMZ probably not being bought up by big money. Probably retail traders, you and I, maybe some bigger traders with some bigger accounts. The point is, these buy programs are typically associated with big money, sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, pension funds, whatever you want to call it. And so you don't typically get bursts of liquidity when there's a buy program on, but you will get bursts of liquidity with these type of stocks, Fabian, because that's just kind of what they do. So we're still waiting over here at that 230. We knowing full well we got that 231 break. Here we are. Look, there's barely any size here at 230, which means that the iceberg order is there. I don't know with how many shares. We can try to kind of gauge that by looking at the time and sales to see how many prints we're getting at 30 to see whether they get taken out or not. So that's my look. I'm still packing my patience. We're in the money on it, but definitely not writing any letters home to tell everybody how well we're doing. And I hope I don't get bored to death before this 230 area gets broken or gets rejected. The other area, the other one that I'm still looking at is BNF. You call me crazy, call me whatever you want, but I'm seeing it hold up here at the volume weighted average price. For how long? I really don't know. And I don't even know if it's going to hold up there. So we're going to give this one another try. because that's what we're doing here. We got to do these trades, baby. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to put that essentially all the way down here and give this one the old community college try and try to get a couple of good prints off it, knowing full well that I'm stuck in a range on another, but I'm in a better area. I think this is the best area I've been in on BENF to get a pop here. That'll be fantastic. We'll look to wet our beak maybe at around 280s or something like that. Are you good to go?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. The drama of I appreciate you checking in there. Me being extra with Tesla continues. So basically, I tried the long there above that 217. I added it 217.20, so that was the level I liked, and then we kind of broke down. I got out as we broke back below 217s. I had to move my stop, right? Because initially it was 216.75, and I was like, that's not really that realistic now that you've added. But then I was like, Adara, this is kind of an umbrella handle pattern. You can't really see because of all my triangles, but look at that sharp move up when we're in a downtrend. This could umbrella, but also what it could do is it could make us thank all our lovely friends at Moo. So we're gonna get ready to do that. I will get ready to do that in 2 seconds here. Thank you, Ramin. But yeah, so basically, what I'm trying to say here with Tesla is I'm using the same levels that I liked as the long to flip short. I'm gonna get, see what we do here at 216.75. I'm gonna actually get out of this trade though before we do the Moo ad read because it looks like, why will it not let me buy? Okay, we're gonna go to that trade as we, before we do the Moo ad read, and now we will be thanking our friends at Moo. Are you ready to go? Okay, yeah, perfect. So rate cuts are on the horizon and the market is about to shift. Just look at NVIDIA, down 35% one moment, then bouncing back the next. To protect your gains, you need Moo's trailing stop orders. Partnered with NASDAQ, Moo is your top investing app. Unlike typical stop orders, ours move up as your stock rises, locking in profits before a drop. And it works for options too. Plus, enjoy 0 commissions, 0 contract fees, 8.1% APY on invested cash, and 15 free stocks. Don't miss out. Check out the link in the description or scan the QR code now. But yeah, so thank you very much, Ramin, for that. Yes, thanks again, Sherry, for taking over while I was dealing with the Cybertruck one. Tesla now pushing back up above the 90 MA. To be clear, like I don't mind that I flipped short. I had reasons for flipping short. I just arguably should have, not added to Tesla right where I did, and then I might have still been in the long in the first place. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, though. That's the thing with these markets is that's what the whole point of journaling is. Like, what could you do differently going forward, right? I think it's a little bit easier to when you've had some space, whereas I always like to think of what we do here on the show is we're like live journaling for everybody, right? So pretty fun times there. Shout out to the market.
All right, before Neil, though.
Oh, before we
got
the real deal, we got this.
All right, so Roaring Kitty just tweeted, thank you very much for that Bears versus Bulls. He is the world's greatest moderator, and that's the way it is. So there's the post right there from the Catman, and Gumma is really going here. GME popping out. Shout out to Michelle Berry. He was talking up a storm about this earlier. So shout out to him. 6% right now, knocking on the door of $24. High a day, $23.92. Neil, I didn't want to keep you waiting, but I just wanted to let everybody know that GME is moving and Roaring Kitty just tweeted.
It seems like he's dumping Chewy is the implication.
Yeah, very much there, Sharif. You got to get to the news. And, before we get to the lesson of the day, I might as well mention Chewy because I was actually just talking with the floor manager. We were looking at the tweet of him throwing out, because when he did the positive tweet, that was like the dog, Chewy, and then he's dumping that one. Yeah, so this is what happened to Chewy in the moment before we get into the lesson of the day. And I just got out now. I was thinking maybe you could go a little bit further to the downside. He tweeted it broke 26. It essentially bounced here, right? So first, and this is a 3-minute chart. So initially it goes to these lows, and then it goes to those lows, and now it's breaking back out. Whenever you have like a news event, or in this case it's not really a news event, but any kind of event, the first thing I think of is, can you get in early? If you can, great. Take the trade station to station. And if it breaks this low, hold on for dear life. If it doesn't, I usually wait for a VWAP retrace. In this case, where the news came out was underneath VWAP already. So I don't think it's much of a reload trade. It might actually be a liquidity squeeze back to the other side now that we think about it. Speaking of squeezes, nothing squeezing to the upside today on the NASDAQ. But, the lesson today, and I tweeted something about this earlier, was if you have a move like we had today, and you have some short setups that you like, or, if it's a big up day like we've had in the past, and you have some long setups that you like, your work isn't done. Like if you want a specific price at the open, let's say I want to short Intel 20, which was the case today. So I don't just look at this and say, well, every single day it's been giving me the trade at 20, whether it's into 20 or it's off of 20, and then you're just banking on it. Well, if it never gets to that price, you don't just throw your hands up and say, oh, well, you know what? I wanted shorts on Intel into 20 or underneath 20 or through 20 or in front of 20. Well, it's not going to get there if the market just cascades to the downside. And so I think I was looking in the right spot. I'm not going to complain too much about finding that first entry because the part of the plan when this happens for myself, if I think a stock is a short till it's not, is, okay, well, pre-market lows on opportunity, previous lows on opportunity, VWAP, all those things coincided to get me into the first available pop, which I say all the time, first available pop, I want to join the short. Now here's where the problem was. I then got out of it when it bounced in front of even dollar at 19. Now, candidly, part of the reason why I'm doing that is I'm looking at the 52-week low just underneath 19 and saying I need to make sure I profit out in front of it. Fine. I'm expecting it to bounce or trend slowly into VWAP. The thing about taking it station to station like this is this was a heavy, heavy fall in an already weak market that just rinsed everybody by faking us out to the upside. It's not your average market drop. This was, let's have an economic number, break things out, trap everybody at the open when they think it's going to be bullish, and then just cascade to the downside. Context is everything here. And in that context, if you like a short, it's every available opportunity to get in. You would have heard me say that. I don't even bother with it till I scalp it through the actual low. It bounces off 75. And then thank goodness there was that, I don't even know what the heck happened here, but it was like right at 11, like right as we're ending the morning show at 11 o'clock, you would have heard there was like a big bounce, Apple, everything started going. Well, that was a gift. It was a gift that it actually did that move. So I'm like, of course I'm shorting that one on Intel. So you have to short the available pops. But that's one where at least I got in a couple of times and maybe missed 3 entries. Where it's a real fail is the exact same thing, and this is the one that's going to bug me the most, and it's going to be AMD because I've only been looking short on AMD for the last however many days in a row. And how similar is this? Okay, so great, it doesn't get to your 43 resistance, fair enough. It doesn't get to yesterday's highs, fair enough. If you're aggressive, maybe you could be shorting the 140s. All of that, once it's broken down, you've got to forget about. But look at how simple the setup is. Remember the same thing as I was saying on Intel? So there is previous day low, 137.5. You saw that's where it came from when we broke out in the morning off of our NFP data. Well, when it gets to that price, it's not necessarily clean, but at least you take a swing at this and you scalp 50 cents or whatever, maybe 70, 80 cents, and then it comes back and stops you out. Fair enough. At least you swung at it. And then the second time, what happens when it retests that price level? That's where it gets good. You just stick with it. But you stick with it, that's the same price level. It gives you another entry point. When it's a big move to the downside, you got to have that one. And if you're extremely patient, okay. If you're going to be extremely patient, allow it to just consolidate underneath all of that garbage. And then it consolidates underneath all of that garbage. And what happens when it's an easy short entry? It's about 136 in here. You would have had something in there, giving it to 136.50, no worse than 30 cents worth of risk. And then you're joining the trend to the downside. You cannot be afraid to jump into a trend, even if you don't like your prices. But that's the example, like with Mara here today. Okay, so I didn't get Mara early. Should have had Mara here. Should have had Mara here. Took a flat bottom break, stopped out. Took another one, it double bottom, got out. Then the gift into VWAP. Now this one actually got to VWAP, so fantastic. But you've got to be willing to find the trade, join the trade wherever you can. And as I'm saying this, let's go live for a second. Apple, the one stock, and I'm going to be angry with myself here, because remember all of that junk that I talked about where you're clearing out lows and you're consolidating under? The one stock that I just gave up on the long maybe a few minutes ago that didn't necessarily set up the same way, actually Apple. Because if you look at the significant price levels, okay, so there's your big significant bottom, which is also the pre-market low. No break of the pre-market low. So yeah, it was a big reversal off resistance, but no break of that pre-market low. Actually held on to it. But the only thing that can still be looking for any kind of a long would be that Apple. Now, granted, if you shorted pops in this one, you're absolutely laughing, but it's actually at least trying to set up into a long. And I can go through a host of names that are going to look similar to this. Like, you could have easily just said, start with something like a Broadcom. Now, Broadcom, unless you were shorted off the top at the open, you're going to miss your opportunity. But it gave you all of the technical levels where joining the trend made sense. Oh, you want to give it back into previous support, 142? Well, when it broke that, tries to retest, fails at VWAP. Fails at VWAP. Now it's actually trying to break VWAP. Everybody watch out. If Broadcom can hold on to VWAP, that would be a good bottom for the market to make, just because they're the ones with earning, and they're SSR as well. So when it comes to joining the trend, it has mostly to do today with aggression because of what happened in the futures. Now, on a normal day where we just have an inside day, I don't think you want to short every possible entry, willing to take paper cuts short because you're going to be aggressive joining that trend. Make sure you do it on stocks that you actually like for shorts, which I think goes without saying. But when you have a false breakout, irrational exuberance, all that stuff that we had going into the open, and then you start trending like this. On a 15-minute, there's one green candle. And that's that one buy that happened right at 11 o'clock where everything came to the upside for a hot minute. And even then, that was a short entry for everybody. So it's one of these days where, okay, so you can stem the bleeding by having a few shorts that'll pay for all the bad longs if you're doing it best, or maybe you don't have enough shorts like I didn't, so you end up red, but at least it's not too bad because you had them. Or if you have short setups and we get a false break of the high at the open on Friday, on an NFP report, when you say short every single pop, sometimes it's just worth doing that, especially when the market's confirming that, especially when everyone's bleeding to the downside, especially when everyone's trying to find bottoms in the market. Well, if you're just taking the other side of every trade, not some of them, but if you can be aggressive and you already like the short, you already like the direction in some of those stocks. I mean, heck, even as I'm talking, Mars making fresh lows. Like, are you kidding me? The market's making fresh lows. Mars making fresh lows. And this was one, like, it was an absolute gift. I didn't get enough. And you know what? Looking back at it, I should have had more here. Fail. Gates of, oh, that one doesn't work very well. Gates of hell. So I should have had more shorts in Mars. But you know what? At least you join the trend at some point. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. And if you're going to stay right, that means short today until proven otherwise. Apple's still trying to hold out. NVIDIA still wants 100, but should have been much more aggressive with some of the short ideas. It's okay to get back out, to get out and scalp trade. There's nothing wrong with that. But the whole purpose is to get back in and then get back in at the next available quality opportunity. That's what you always have to do more of if you're going to take it station to station, which I do and didn't do well enough today. We can all try to be better. That's your lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Neil. You know what I'm going to say. Eloquent, informative, and just flat out awesome as always. Neil Roberts dropping these hotlines every day around noon. If you're with us, make sure to catch the Neilage, Neil's lesson of the day. Thank you very much. Speedy lines. No, speed lines. Ram, not speedy. Well, they could be. You can call them what you want, but it's speed lines. That's what Ram is referring to. She still won't wear the mic, despite the fact that she's going to use the camera. She's not going to use the mic. So I was able to get a little bit out here on BENF after going 0 for 575 on it. We get one win over here. We'll see if we can go a little bit more. It seems to be finding its footing at the volume-weighted average price, much like BLMZ is doing the exact same thing, finding its footing at the volume-weighted average price, still holding this one. I like what it's doing, though, in terms of a setup for BLMZ. But I'm still concerned because now it's looking like a head and shoulders a little bit on the 5. Initially, it looked more on the 1. Now it's really manifesting a little bit over here. If we hold this for a little bit longer and that 230 level becomes elusive, well, then that's it. I think I'm also going to cancel my my planned dollar cost average at 205 because I don't think it really reflects the price action as well as it did before. 207 is where VWAP is at. I don't want to base too much on 2. Despite that's where my stop is going to be, but I don't think I'm going to add there. We'll see. I'm going to have to judge it when the time comes. So BLMZ, continuing to consolidate a little bit over here. I'm seeing everybody talk about GME. I see GME, baby. It just dipped into the volume weighted average price. We've got it up on a trading screen here. It did dip into 23. Let me just make sure that 23.08 is the low of that kind of basically inverse hammer candle there. And it's at VWAP right now. VWAP on my chart, that mid 23, mid 30s, say 33, 34, something like that. It's essentially there right now. What I'm looking at is my 5-minute chart above. I execute on the 1, I chart on the 5. So I want to see if GME catches a bounce here off VWAP. The other level, everything good, Neil? The other level I'm looking at is the closing print on the day, which is 22.40 essentially, which is about $1 from where we are right now. So if it doesn't hold up here, it's not like I'm going to be holding it to DCA, but keeping my eye on this level, if it holds up at VWAP, we could catch a bit of a bounce here, Dara. How's your trading going?
Yeah, it's going pretty well here. I just got long AVGO, so we'll talk about that before I get into anything else here. Got long AVGO. I liked this. I talked a lot about how I liked this kind of, if we could break above the VWAP, I'd be interested in that. Higher highs, higher lows. I got involved basically at the trend, though, sometimes the trend can bend, but until it bends, I'd like to be involved. I sized pretty aggressively, to be clear, and I'm going to talk about this with regards to my Chewy trade, which I have so many positive thoughts about. But what I'm trying to say here is, as long as, like I said, I've been trying to think about risk more in terms of percentage of your total risk, rather than this many dollars, right? Because as long as you're risking a reasonable, for how much you believe in the trade, a reasonable percentage of your total risk, you can be a little more frisky with it, emphasis on risk. But so anyways, that's what I'm trying to do here. We're definitely going to be taking some out here at 50s. I'm risking into 25s. So we're going to be getting, 138.25s. I want to get some out here around 139.50s. We'll do like 40% of the position there, should it get there. We'll wait and see. I'm also willing to move up my stop. You guys know how I usually operate there. I'll move up my stop pretty much more or less often to what the prior bar higher low would be. So let's take a look at Tesla. I had that trade, a couple trades in this. I tried to go short when we had that breakdown at 216. I clearly timed it not very well. What I tried to do was get involved at 216.70. That was clear support. Couldn't get filled. Then once we broke below 216, I got involved, risked into 216.20s because that was definitely a level of support resistance. Happy with how the trade was managed, but not happy with the execution of it. Where's the next trade? Also, the next trade is Broadcom, by the way. We already answered that question. Also, Chewy. I want to talk about Chewy because I'm really happy with what I did here. I got short Chewy. We had that big move down and that big pop back up. Then I notice where we're sitting, which is also, interestingly enough, a previous wick of support. I'm like, hey, Dara, get involved here, get some size. As long as you're doing it by risk unit, you could actually size up in this. So I got involved here. I initially entered 26.25. Not initially, I got the whole position here. 26.25s. I said, go risk into 26.35s. The second I get involved, we wake up to 26.35, and then we sell off. I was like, okay, dope. So I got out half the position at 26s, which was that previous kind of level of support. It's whole dollar level. I liked it. Got involved there, so took a quick 25 cents with half the position. Then I used prior bar levels in the 1 minute. I think it was prior bar high to get out, and that ended up being 26.15. So I took 10 cents on half the position, 25 cents in the remaining half. That was what I did there with Chewy. Also, Broadcom looking like it's trying to make a bit of a broad move to the upside, in which case I have to say, thank you. I basically, the whole reason I bring up risk units, and I want to shout out Obi because I know he's mentioned this, they really help you to kind of, I guess, contextualize your trading less in terms of profit and loss. Because like I said, I'm really trying to get away from that mentality and more in terms of, does this make sense for my total percentage? And also how much am I looking to gain for it versus how much I'll end up losing. So that's what I have happening here on Broadcom. We don't want 50s, that we've wicked into it. So I think we're going to get some, might switch here 35s. We're going to see what happens here. 35s definitely seems to be an area. So we'll get out, we'll get out this 30% here at 35s. I can live with that because I do not like this topping tail candle. Sam, I am, or Sharif, I am. What are you looking at over here? Can't believe it's already 12:30, guys. Vote for your tickers. It is a Friday. If you want to hear what Obi and Neil have to say about your tickers, get into that chat and let us know so we can let them know, so we can let you all know.
Yeah, I'm in GameStop. Let's see if it breaks through that $0.25. I'm waiting at 77s. There we go. We get the first print. I'm disappointed with how I traded this. I've I executed well on it, but I definitely didn't get the best price. I wanted something in the 40s. I put in a dip trade in the 30s. I was 1 penny from getting printed. So a little disappointed with how that one went, but we just took our first beak wetter. Where are we? We're still along 68s, printing 80s. Let's see if we can work our way maybe into that whole dollar at 24. I can pack my patience and wait till that. Good look for GameStop. I really like how it held at the volume weighted average price. All right, almost 20 pennies in the money. Let's see if we can work up into that mid. So what I'll do is I'll just take it out in the mid 290s if it is able to reach that level. I don't want to be met with the wall of selling in and around the whole dollar, which I anticipate probably will be where shorts want to set up. Maybe they're set up at 90. All right, so we're printing 88s now. We just got 90s there on the bid. Let's see, or the ask, excuse me. Let's see if we can break through 90. Looks like there's some selling at 90, maybe to front run that whole dollar level. We'll have to pack our patience and see. I've already put the beak wetter there, and the stop is in place. There's really not much for me to do. Here comes 90 again. Can we break through 90? No size at the level. You can just see this is obviously an iceberg. Super easy to spot there when there is almost no size and 2 books essentially showing size at the level, not 2 gateways, excuse me, I didn't mean books, 2 gateways. Now it's opening up a little bit, so we'll pack our patience there. All right, what else what are the other trades doing? We're still in this holding phase right now on BLMZ. Haven't been able to get a print there. I was able to get a print on BENF. It's still holding VWAP, so there's not much for me to do with either of these ones. The stops are in place, the levels are set, the beak wetters are set. Now there we go, we get the print on GME, so we get that big break through 90 pennies. There, good trade. Let's see if we can extract some more money off GME. Let's watch for 24. If 24 gets broken, we'll use it as support. I mean, we don't have to be first to the party. Let me just take off my stop now on GME so that it doesn't trigger me on the way down. That's been an issue that I have had where I haven't cleaned up my stops. Where is my stop for GME, by the way? Okay. It looks like it just, looks like I didn't even put one. All right, so that's the look there. Let's go back into BENF because BENF's been really holding up at this 55 penny area on occasion. So I was able to de-risk at 75 with the larger piece that I have, but anything through that break of 55 and I'm going to be gonzino, especially with these lower highs, what could be setting up to be a flat bottom break. It could be a hold at VWAP, but it could also be a flat bottom break. Time will tell there.
Yeah, time will also tell if we're able to get out. We're already taking half out of this AVGO, guys. I'm really happy with what I did here. Got out the first half at, I'll switch to the 3-minute maybe so you can see a little better. Got out, is it the 1 minute? We'll see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so got out the first half here at 139.35. Like I said, I was initially saving for, no, sorry, not first half. I got out the first 30%. Then got out another piece out here at that 139.60s. We broke into that. Basically, any kind of level of resistance was where I was setting those beak wetters. So now with that in mind, we're going to wet our, oh, but it didn't work. We're going to look to wet our beak or do some more moves here if we get to that 139.35. So we break below that. It's all she wrote because that was certainly an area it took us some time to get above. Support and resistance can flip. You want to see it. If you see it in the book, that's something that I'm going to be aware of. Look at how we held that 139.35 on the book. I think I chose the right level to move that stop. And right now, we're going to stay in this. We broke below. I got out there. Really happy with how I executed this trade, Sharif. And everybody out here. I want to buy more GME, says Alzak. Tesla destruction now, says M. Allen. Yeah, I just looked at my side chart and that Tesla broke below that 216. Let's switch to a 5-minute, which is generally off of which I chart. LOL, so many Tesla little entries there. TSLA, what are you doing? Okay. This is interesting. I think 216 clearly like that level. Look at that topping tail candle following what actually looked like a pretty bullish attempt here with that bottoming tail candle back into 216. Tesla's been really bamboozling even by its standards today, I find. You can have levels. I just don't think I've been trading it appropriately. But I felt the same way about NVIDIA yesterday. When something set up, I hit it full throttle. So if something sets up with Tesla, I shall hit it full throttle. We have just broken into new lows of days here on the Cybertruck one. Yeah, I would not be long here, I must say. But if we can break back above that 216, then you might be able to convince me. Emphasis on might. I would take a lot of convincing and maybe some matcha. Also, speaking of NVIDIA, what are you doing? The rest of your Mag 7 friends are making new low of days. And NVIDIA's like, I'm an individual. I'm an individual. Bad NVIDIA, insert bad. I was trying to say NVIDIA and individual at the same time. But look at NVIDIA with actually a surprisingly bullish look compared to any of the other Meg 7s. Oh, if Meta breaks 500, that's be dope too. Any of the Meg 7s I pull up here, right? Microsoft, little bouncy low of day. Amazon low of day. Google low of day. Meta low of day. Q's low of day. NVIDIA, hi girl. Look at this attempt here. If we can steadily bounce off the 101.85s, you can, what do you risk this to? 65s, you're risking like 20 cents. I don't think you're gonna get filled. I think NVIDIA's a little too aggressive for that. But I do like this look. If we could stay, if we break above 102s, I would have more conviction for that. Trying to break above 102s, but we can't decisively. I'll be watching, I'll be waiting. In the meantime, though, I will be scheming, plotting, scheming, getting money. Yeah, I know I shout out that song a lot, but it's a little underrated. Trader Forever is saying, well, I hate to throw this out there, but the quarterly expected move down for the SPY is to 515.81. You never know, though. Yeah, the SPY, Trader Forever, has been, that spider has been creeping to the downside. I told you my SPY chart. I forgot my SPY chart's been weird. I pull up my SPY'd chart. Okay, SPY also here near low of days. Like I said, 541.55. That was the previous low of day. That was, to me, the most interesting level of interaction. We bounced off it a couple times. We have some bottoming tail wicks into it, topping tail wicks into it. Now we're codunking. I think if we get back to 541.55s, that to me would be a bit of a decision point for the S&P 500. But we just broke 540, so who knows what's going on here. Wow, Sharif, some blood in these here markets.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching NVIDIA, Tesla, and really happy where I got out of Broadcom, because that's breaking back below VWAP. There could be a bit of a short in the woods for me if that one thing makes a lower low, Sharif.
All right, we're going to start the lesson in a hot second here. I just want to manage this BLMZ trade as it is at $2 now, so a bit of a tougher look there. I also want to mention that I got stopped out for the remaining piece that I had here on BENF. We're able to de-risk, but still very red on this name. I don't want anybody to think that I got positive on that one trade. No, sirree, Bob. So this one not going my way today, not really respecting these areas of support and resistance. We're going to have to wait to see if this BLMZ holds up at 2. That's really the line in the sand here with this name. It's broken down a skosh below VWAP, but I see a bit of a head and shoulders on it, and this is my concern, that the head and shoulders really manifest here aggressively. You can tell someone's selling up a storm or basically looking to reignite shorts here on that little pop-up was met with an aggressive red and blue, little showing up on my time and sales there, which means aggressive selling, as I kind of explained to you guys before what those colors mean. Look at the red come in there aggressively. Look to see if the blue comes in. You can see that D print right there, which means a dark pool print. Definitely not one of the ones that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. Keep your eye on the main gateways, the lit gateways, rather than these dark pool prints. I don't know if everybody has the dark pools on theirs. I know on my IBKR platform, I don't see dark pools, so that could just be a P Pro 8 thing. All right, let's set up for the lesson du jour, baby. We are talking about these here speed lines. So we'll get to that in a hot second while I just set up, and then I have to put up these positions so that I can monitor them. All right, so let's just jump into this. So what are speed lines, guys? Speed lines essentially are a series of diagonal lines that are drawn from significant highs or lows on a chart. But unlike your typical trend lines that connect reaction highs to reaction lows, speed lines are designed essentially to account for the acceleration or deceleration of the trend. They provide you with something specific, which is a dynamic way to monitor the pace at which the prices are moving in a given direction. So we kind of use this as an informal way to gauge momentum. And so here's what they look like. Very rudimentary way, and this doesn't explain the 33 and the 66% rule, but I just kind of want you to get the idea there. What you're looking to do is you're looking to find an area low and then basically gauge the move, and then basically gauge the move from the area low to the area high. The area low for a long will be 0, the area high will be 100, and the opposite. If you're looking short, the area high will be 0, the area low will be 100. So how do you construct these speed lines? Speed lines are drawn, as I mentioned, by first identifying the highest or the lowest point in a trend, either a peak in a downtrend or a trough in an uptrend. From this key point, 3 lines are drawn to intercept the price trend at distinct percentage levels, typically 33 and 66% retracements of the price movement from the start of the trend to the peak for an uptrend or to the trough for a downtrend. So this provides us with what, some call a visual representation of how fast or slow a trend is moving. So here's what they look like IRL. So you have your area low there on Lennar, and you have your area high. So from your area low, you can draw fibs. Fibs make it super easy to do as well, okay? You start with your area low, and you count that as 0. You take your area high, you count that as 100. And then from the 100 area, so this $120 level here on Lennar, you then basically gauge what a 33% retracement would be from this 120 area, and that happens to be in the high mid-80s. So then basically you draw a trend line from the area low to intersect with that 33% retracement area. You do the exact same thing for 66% by gauging what a 66% retracement would be on Lennar from this 120 area, and that would happen to be in the mid-50s. So what you would do is you draw a speed line from your area trough right there into the mid-50s to intersect with that 66% retracement. I'll show you what to do with these trend lines in a second, but that's how they're drawn. The opposite is also true for the short. Here's a look at Nike. So you draw your area from the area crest is your 0, the area trough is your 100, and then you just basically gauge what a 33% retracement would take you, where a 66% retracement would take you, and then you draw diagonal lines to intersect with both of those. And then you have your speed line. So that's exactly how we construct them. What's their purpose, though? Great figuring out how to construct them, but what's the actual purpose? The main purpose of speed lines, as we kind of mentioned, is to determine the strength of the trend. They help traders recognize when a trend is accelerating too quickly or decelerating too quickly, which may signal an upcoming reversal or correction. The concept, though, is useful for market dynamics where the trends don't move at a steady pace, and that seems to be it feels like that's most of the time now, okay? Well, for most of these stocks, maybe the stocks that I just traded. What are the practical applications, though, of speed lines? How can we use them on a day-in, day-out basis with our trading methodology? So the first one I think everybody wants to be able to realize is to identify a reversal when the winds of change come. I'd like to have advanced notice. Speed lines help you a little bit with that, right? So they provide you with clues as to whether the trend may reverse. When the price breaks through that first speed line, that 33% retracement that we talked about, it indicates that the trend may be losing momentum. However, if the price continues downwards and breaks through that 66% retracement level, you should be on the lookout for a full reversal, which could be imminent, okay? So that 66% retracement can kind of be that line in the sand. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it should put you on guard. And this is how we kind of do them, right? We draw from the area trough to the area crest. We draw 33% retracement, and then look at what happens over here. We get that break through that 66%, and then we kind of don't look back, right? We really continue to print lower. And by the way, I should mention that the 33 and the 66% retracements are just one of the possibilities. You can use whatever you want. You can use 75, 50, 25, as long as it works for you. What John J. Murphy posits in his book is 33 and 66, and that's going to be the scope of today's lesson. All right. Also, another practical application for these speed lines is adjusting your positions. So in an uptrend, when price action moves steeply above that 33% or above that 66%, traders may expect a correction and thus reduce long positions or basically take profits. However, in a downtrend, if prices decline sharply through these lines, 33 and 66% lines, it may signal to you a potential selling opportunity, and traders may increase their short positions at that level, says John Jay. If the price, however, respects the speed lines as opposed to breaching them, well, then you should be on the lookout for if the price respects the speed lines without breaking through, it provides confirmation, that's what I'm trying to say, that the trend is strong. It held the speed lines, it didn't breach, right? So looks like that, momentum shift back to the upside could be in play, and John Jay suggests that traders hold on or add to their positions in those cases. So you can decide how to do that however you want. The other practical applicator for this particular indicator is adapting to changing trends. So speed lines can help traders avoid prematurely exiting a trade by confirming the trend's pace is still intact. I know that how many times have I said, oh, I took out too much too quickly. This is one of the ways you can help avoid that. It also offers you signals for adapting trading plans when the action deviates significantly from the established lines, ensuring flexibility in your trading decisions. For instance, when the price fails, for example, to break through any speed line, it indicates to you strong momentum and likely further trend continuation. And last but not least, using speed lines is great, understanding them is fantastic, but with all technical analysis, we never want to place too much weight on any one indicator, so it's incumbent upon us to really use them with other technical indicators, and that's what we want to talk about here. So they work best in conjunction with like moving averages, these oscillators like RSI, and obviously support and resistance levels work very well to it as well. For example, if the price, for example, breaks through a speed line and the RSI is in that overbought position, it would strengthen the case for a reversal, right? Making it a higher probability setup. So you should always be on the lookout for what other technicals are telling you at any one time and not just what the speed lines are setting up or saying. And so just to conclude here, speed lines are certainly effective tools for gauging that market momentum and the sustainability of a trend. But as with all technical tools, guys, they are best used in combination with other methods and analysis. As a general rule, traders can use these speed lines, though, to help them in their trading plans by using them for things like IDing or identifying when trends are likely to continue in reverse, fine-tuning your entry and your exit positions, and managing, certainly, risk through better stop placement. I hope everybody prints.
Yeah, and if I may say a bit, of a cliched platitude there, tools, not rules, right? Like they can help you, but they're not like, that should not be your be-all, end-all, right? You want to look at the balance of the evidence. Oh, yeah. Pretend you heard the Law and Order theme song. There we go. Also, I'm back in Broadcom. I will talk about that Lily trade that was on the blotter, but right now I want to take you guys over why I am in Broadcom. So Broadcom, and to be clear, my fingers were like itching to short this thing at 138.40 because you guys know that was a level I liked. And then I was like, Adara, wait to see what it does here at that previous low. We kind of broke below. I think maybe I should have been a bit more aggressive, gotten short 138.40, risked into 138.70s. Like that was a level I liked too. I get why I didn't though, because that would have actually literally been a higher low. It is what it is. But I want to see what we do here. We're going to be risking here into that little area of interaction, which is going to be 35s. For AVGO, let's see if we can have go to the downside for Broadcom, because that would be the bomb dot Broadcom if we could. What's my plan for this trade, you may ask? I will be adding, if we get here into 75s, look at this kind of chippity-choppity area, and then we wicked into it. So I think to me, that's a pretty strong area of support. If we break below that, I think, where do we go next? Well, I would love to start taking profit as we get here into 137s. Is that a bit ambitious? Sure. But you have to be a little bit ambitious with these trades. If you're not, what are you doing here? And with that in mind, I would like to present you, Mademoiselle Lily. So I said all day what I wanted from Lily was an 895 breakdown. We looked really poised to get it. We had some volume coming in on the downside. SPY at low of days. The short worked out for half a second. We ended up getting stopped out. I got involved, I think, just above. Sorry, I have to get out of Broadcom here. So I got involved basically with my. What is it? Lily and I became friends there at I think just shy of 897s. Got stopped at 198, 898s. So I think it was a reasonable level of risk to reward. Let's see though, I'm not getting back involved in Lily. It was fun while it lasted, and it's over now. Also, you know what I just remembered? There's an earnings name we have not talked about, and it's DocuSign, and that's because it was doing no volume, to be clear. Zero volume on the DocuSign one. No one was signing their documents with that one. But DOCU here, let's take a look at this guy because I think it is definitely worth discussing. They had earnings, and yeah, like I said, weren't on the watch list because there was no volume associated with that. Wasn't much of a move. This is interesting. They're up on the day, 4.63 million, so now they've got some volume here. Nice support, I guess, at 58.20. This is not like the most exciting chart pattern, though. Kind of a bit of a bull flag, and it is rare to see a name that is strong in this market. But yeah, I just thought we should shout out DocuSign with its earnings. Broadcom, like I said, left as it got above that 138.40 level. If we didn't reject 70s, that might be the better level for the short. I would take another pop at this potentially, but I'm just trying to be a little bit more, breathing. We can feel the tired trade rules might need to be instituted. I'll put it that way. So I want to make sure I'm taking trades. That makes sense. Also worth noting, we have a creep up here in the SPY. Like I said, the SPY below 540 was great. When it started to creep above, that's when Lily started to spell trouble. But I keep forgetting my SPY chart is having issues. If SPY gets above, I've said this before, I'll say it again, if SPY gets above 541.50, then that'll be, to me, a great level, because that was that previous low of day, and it was a really spicy level of interaction. This long pop would have worked. I gave myself not enough risk on that. So you can have the level right, but it's about how you trade the level that matters. Shout out to Obi. I know he said that. And also, if you guys want to see what Obi and Neil have to say about any of your tickers, get into that chat right now and you vote! Exclamation point. Join. Space. $, the ticker. So let us know what tickers you're looking at. We want to know so that we can help you guys take a look-see at what is going on there in the market. Speaking of which, we've got someone in the chat, Jorge Alvarado. Any feedback on Amazon? Okay. Wow, I just looked at my side chart in Amazon and I said, oh boy, I feel like I had to. I'm looking at Amazon. I think that's the most appropriate homage to make. But this Amazon, look at this. If it would load, it's beautiful. Jorge, what I have to say about Amazon is clearly we had a downtrend. We had 1 umbrella handle, 2 umbrella handle, 3 umbrella handle, half an umbrella handle. But now we're trying to have a little bit of a curl. Look at it. And Amazon, I mentioned this before for someone else. I think it was David E. Clark. Amazon keeps wicking into these levels and then quadunking. So watch this level we wicked into here, that 172.40. If it holds 172.40, to me, that would be a bullish look, especially if we can have the Q, which looks a little bit like it's trying to find a bottom, and the SPY, which looks kind of similar. If those guys can find a bottom and Amazon can reclaim 172.40, I think that's a really nice look. I actually might be looking at Amazon here now, too. So we'll have to see, if I say, oh boy, you'll know I'm involved. No, I'm joking. But we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that Amazon one. Guys, make sure you're voting for your tickers. Exclamation point join, space, $. I should get my Streamlabs. Oh, that's why my Streamlabs didn't work, because my computer crashed earlier. So get into the chat, guys. Vote for those tickers. Let us know what you are looking at. Whatever tickers are fancy, whatever tickers are making you tick, we want to hear all about them. Also, this Broadcom short, I'm just going to touch on this again, because this is the biggest example of sometimes the level that makes the most sense is not the level that makes sense. Why? Like 40s, I knew I cared about more 40s or 70s. So it's like, oh, but it'll get short because that'll be like, if we make a new low below that low. It's like, Adara, that's not even a level you cared about that much. Point I'm trying to make is make trades that make sense to you, not trades that you think make sense to the market, because the market doesn't care about your feelings. You have to trust yourself and your gut. To be clear, I'm not trying to I'm not crying over spilt milk with this trade. Happy with what I did with it, like the other trades here. And I do still think there could be a short in these hills, but I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be seeing what else this market has to give me. That Lily 895 looks mighty tempting, but I do not need to throw any more money at Mademoiselle. She's doing just fine, thank you very much. She doesn't need me for her Ozempic. How are you doing? She's good. I'm good. I'm in GME, so I was able to work this one a little bit over here. Found a bit of a support level. I did get in, wet my beak here in front of 23. I'm still holding a piece and looking at adding, in fact, if it does make its way back down into the mid-60s or low 70s. Here we go with 23 again. We did get above 23 momentarily. We got to that 23.10, but we seem to be met with a wall of sellers in and around that area. So if we don't break 23 decisively in a short order over here, I'm definitely going to be looking at just taking the profits I have and getting out of Dodge on this name. So GME is it's a lot of fun to trade. Obviously, it looks like the better move is behind it. It's below VWAP. It's trying to hold that 930, the IB high. The IB high takes us into about 2287 on the wick. The closing print on the IB high, though, takes us about to 2270 on the closing print. So we'll have to see how this one goes. The trade is already kind of set up. Not much for me to do. To be honest with you, BLMZ now is trouble, because it's put in umpteen amount of lower highs over here. So if I get into anywhere near break even, I'm just going to take this one out, because it's not setting up in the way that I'd like. It's holding VWAP. It's fantastic. It could end up being one of those VWAP hold high of day breaks. If it does, great. But I've got my suspicions about it. BENF is right back above VWAP again. Watch out for this one. It's catching a bid. Where'd it go? I think I took it off because kept getting cut up on it. Yeah, we have Meta over here.
There it is, BENF right back above that VWAP, but there's a consolidation range that it couldn't break there. It's at 280. So unless it really gets above 280, I'm not going to be interested in BENF. I did see Microsoft, though, starting to work its way back up over here, and it was one of the only ones, I think it and NVIDIA, where it got up above the 20 exponential. I don't want to put too much into that because it really feels like a down day on the Mag 7. I haven't touched the Mag 7 at all today, but there's a look. I mean, Microsoft makes a 401.46 low. It then works its way above the 20 exponential moving average. Compare that to all the others. There are really no others that actually closed above the 20 exponential moving average. And if I can say so, Microsoft is putting in higher lows and possibly higher highs. You're not seeing that as well with any other name. You saw it momentarily with NVIDIA at around that 1205, 1210. It did make some higher highs there and for that 102.50 move. But Softy is really the only one that you feel like is putting in, at least locally. We'll have to see if that just ends super quick or what the situation is there. So BENF above VWAP, but not interested unless it gets above 280. BLMZ, I'm going to cut this one anywhere I'm near break even or get stopped out. It's going to be one of the two. And then GameStop. I'm still holding this a little bit over here, looking at DCA, possibly to get a bit more shareage at around that 22.65 area. It's obviously having trouble with 23. If it doesn't break 23 in short order, we're going to have to basically end that trade. Gorev, crowd looks awfully weak today. Looks like a great short here. Flat bottom break. Love your question. Let's find out what crowd's doing. All right. CRWD. Yeah, man. It kind of looks like every other Mag 7 right now, which is basically that hockey stick pattern, but maybe a little bit wider. Rejected off the 20, below the 10 as we speak. Yeah, Gorev, I mean, there isn't a whole lot different between these here charts and the Meg and CrowdStrike. Let me show you. So here's the look on CrowdStrike. Take a look at that, and then look at the Mag 7. They all look alike. So I think it's just a general market thing where, you know, we're going to sell off. I mean, when we say that September was a weak month, we don't just say that because it's fun to say. It really is. And if you're going to be involved in the market, especially on the long term, you just got to be able to weather the storm. So shut your emotions off, be dead inside, do whatever you need to do. But September, not going to be a pretty month. That's just the way it is. So we'll pack our patience with the long term, and we'll see what we get there. Keeping my eye here on BLMZ as it works its way back into that 215 area. Here's 217. I'm long 222, so here it is. I'm just gonna, oh, wow. I was about to flatten out, just tanked. So let's put something out here for that 220 area because I no longer want to be in this trade. Where is my, okay, that's fine. We're holding a bit more share size here. Yeah, I'm gonna pack my patience on this one, I think. I'm just gonna hold it for a little bit longer, see what comes of it. What's everybody else looking at? Asa says Tesla's at 214. Sure, it's at 214.68. It's literally at the low of day right now. So there's just no stopping the bleeding on the market. Get ready, baby. It's going to be a hell of September.
Yeah, this it's like, you know, September's a little bit rainier, and if you're in the markets, it sounds like it's raining blood. I want to shout out, I don't know if she's here, but shout out to Marie S. Lyman in the chat. Bears vs. Bulls sent me a comment that you made in the chat a while ago and was like, oh, Adara, I thought you'd find this funny because it's on the market recap, which I am, you know, not there for. So I think let me find this comment because this really made me laugh, and it had to do with what we're saying with regards to September and the market weakness. And it was here. Oh my gosh, where? Oh yeah, here we go. Maybe that's why they say not to wear white after Labor Day, because it's a bloodbath. Yeah, I mean, the market's pretty bloody. Shout out to you, Maria S. Lyman. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls for everything he does. And guys, Bears vs. Bulls also helps us with this, our audience segment. So make sure you get your votes in, guys. Exclamation point, join, space, $, ticker. And let us know what you are looking at in this pretty violent September. Speaking of violence, NVIDIA's to the downside. Who's excited? The person who's short it. That's me. I am short NVIDIA. I'm seeing what we do here, this 101.80. If we get a bounce off 101.80, I'll flatten here. But basically what occurred for me here in this NVDA was I liked that 102 level. Initially, I was looking at it as a short or as a long, sorry, because I've said NVIDIA's kind of been like a little bit outsized, like strong compared to the rest of what you're seeing here in the market. I'll take some out at 75s because we're struggling with that level. But then I noticed NVIDIA takes a nice little, you know, we're struggling to hold on to that 102. So I said, Adara, risk into 102.20s, or 102.25s, that kind of level here, that support resistance flip. Take it with some size. Like I took this with pretty good size. We currently have a third of the position left, but I took it with good size already. Then I added when we broke below 81s, because to me that was a pretty key level. We got to 65s, which if you see here, I like 65s because look at all of this chip and top and churn here. That's where I got out. I would be looking to get out the rest of this position if we get to 101.40s. I have no idea if we will. What I might also do is get out half at 101.40s and save a piece for the dream at that beautiful bottoming tail candle at 101.20s. This is the type of trading I'm trying to do more of: aggressive, violent, but managed appropriately. Because that's what I want to shout out, like, the whole risk unit process. If you are thinking about things in terms of risk unit, how much you're willing to risk of your total shutdown, you'll take more size because you're like, oh, hey, that's actually, if you don't think about it in money, if you think about it in terms of process, it makes more sense. As we curl back above 80s, we get out the rest of this NVDA. I'm sorry for sounding like a weird frat bro there, but this trade is making me feel like, we could do a keg stand. Let's talk about Chewy as well, because you and I both were trading the memeier names, though I unfortunately was not trading it on the show. I traded it during lunch, and I say unfortunately because I know these are fun to watch being traded. Chewy here, I took that short. Now we have, oh my gosh, Chewy bouncing off of that VWAP level, but it's not just VWAP, Sharif and audience. It's also 26.35s, which was that level that we had some support here earlier. I was using it actually as my stop for this Chewy long. So or Chewy short. I don't want to go long here. The volume, there's like 15,000 shares of volume. I just think it's an interesting level here that I wanted to point out. That 26.25 to 26.35, the support resistance flips there have been really fascinating. And this trade is different for me too, because it really shows like you could still trade trades based on levels even when you have a catalyst-based move. Just use a smaller time frame candle. Look if there's any areas that we paused. The $26 level, as you can see, psychological level, because it is a whole dollar level, and there was some interaction there for CHWY. Also, yeah, I still like Broadcom here. Someone said, I saw someone saying like Broadcom not really short. I think now that we've decisively broken, I'm going to switch to fives. Now that we've decisively broken below 138, I actually like the idea of a Broadcom short here. And I know I initially liked it short 138 and that didn't work out, but that's because I really should have stuck to my initial levels of that area below 139. We're still watching here, guys. And again, if there's any tickers, vote, please. Let us know. Dan Emmons saying someone get a Dara coffee because she's going to run out of all this energy. I've actually had no coffee today. I am 100% serious. I had some matcha earlier. It is no coffee. This energy is brought to you by the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the markets. Ramin was saying, because Ramin shared this theory, she's like, maybe you have more energy without coffee. Maybe I do, because I haven't really yawned much today. Although, shout out though, because last week when it was the Adobe show, I didn't yawn once that Friday, and I didn't even realize till someone in the chat was like, hey, Adara didn't yawn today. Oh. So, good times. High energy here. Really enjoying this market. AI saying, Adara, you need to stop wearing the color red, period. I'm sorry, like with the period there. I'm sorry. Guys, to be fair, the day I wore all green, the market had the best day in 2 years. So like, I can give you guys, I could be there for the Bears and the Bulls. Ramin also thinks she's the culprit because she dyed her hair red. So if you don't mind, Ramin, I will join you in that. We'll put Ramin. Maybe putting Ramin under the bus there. No, I'm joking, but yeah, like it's a good time. I do apologize. I really don't think my clothing moves in the market though. I had this outfit planned last night well in advance, and it was to match my nails, which I guess also don't help the theory that I move the market. How are you doing?
Good. Here we go. We're popping up here on GME quite aggressively. I don't know, I think we're like 20 pennies in the money or something like that. Let's see if we get up to that $0.25. Because that $0.25 is where resistance is. That's where that's where the volume weighted average price. We have local resistance though at around 10. So you can kind of see that over here. We're printing 7, so might as well just hold this and give this one the old college try. I was also able to get a couple of good prints over here at on BLMZ finally, but again, meeting with a wall of sellers at 230, hence why I moved my beak wetter down to take account of this area of resistance over here. We got a nice amount of volume going into that 230. So this looks like it could be one of those VWAP hold high of day breaks. If it is, fantastic. We've got a lot of shares here on this one, so we can definitely take multiple beak wetters. BLMZ, let's see if it can break 230. I think if it does, it definitely squeezes a little bit. But it's not going to be like a 230 exactly break, 231, 232. Reason being, you can see wicks over here where it got above 230. But then was immediately met with some more selling. So whoever's shorting, whoever's taking profit at that 230 level is doing it at multiple levels, not just 3-0. So good look right now. GME really going here. Here we go. Here comes 20 pennies. We're long 84s. Let's see if this can work into the quarter dollar. We're mere pennies away from that quarter dollar. That's what I'll be taking profits. Reason I'm taking profits there is because that is where the volume weighted average price is. And that's my trade right there, right at 20, as the volume weighted average price is at 28 technically. So happy with this trade on GME. And, you know, not one that I trade successfully all that often, to be quite honest with you. So today will, I guess, be a bit of an outlying day for me on GME. We'll see what this one does, though, at VWAP. So I think it's a pay for shorts type situation. Let's find out. Yes, it is. So I won't want to short this right now. I just want to see what it does at VWAP first. So if we get back into that, you know, 30 penny area, quarter dollar area, whatever it's going to be, and then we get that nice rejection, then we're using VWAP there in theory as that level of resistance. So if we do that, I'll ask Neil to get me shorts. But for now, I'm good on that. And we'll see exactly what we get there. So happy with this trade, but looking now to this one as it comes right back down into the area. So we're long 15s as a result of the adding at the low end of the area, but I don't want to take it out here. I don't. And the reason I don't want to take it out is because it's holding VWAP and it's in the very illiquid time of day, this 1 o'clock time slot. So if I can weather the storm through 2 and it can hold generally 2, BLMZ, in my opinion, has potential squeeze opportunity going into the power hour or that more liquid time of the day. We'll see if that manifests on a Friday. Sometimes these small cap gappers. 12? Are you kidding? Okay, I gotta tell everybody. Shout out to Real Trading, and thankfully that thing is up there right now because the short GME is going to cost me 12 pennies for 100 shares.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can't even get shorts on GME on my platform. Just to put that in context, okay? So IBK are not even offering you shorts on GME while Real Trading is offering 100 shares for 12 pennies. Do the math. I mean, that's fantastic. Shout out to Real Trading, man. Straight up, best prop firm around these parts. So here we go again with BLMZ, now working its way back for the zillionth time into 230. I'm going to continue hanging out where I am. I have all the shares that I want for this. And if it definitely breaks through that area, I will be looking a bit more aggressively to not only just take beak wetters above 230, but to add, because this is a squeeze candidate. Let me remind you guys about what the deets on this bad boy are. So we already know how much it's up on the day, 177%. The market cap with this 178% pump is about 30.5 million shares, or $1 million. 130 million shares traded on the day, and this is the one we can't find too much information on, BLMZ. We couldn't find the short float vis-a-vis trade IDs, but we know is the float, which is 1.25 million, which is dang small. It's not the smallest I've ever seen. Certainly, some of these Chinese low floaters are definitely sub 1 million. This one is not one of those. Look at the size stacking at 30. Look at that. And like, that's not even holding it back. I would submit to you it's the iceberg that's holding it back. Look, it's not even moving on EdgeX at all. Like, the size is not even being taken out. So there's a lot of selling at 30. Look at it go, baby. Lots of selling. And look at all the greenery coming in on the ask. All the green prints on the time and sales, that means that's coming in at the ask. If you see orange, that means above, which means buyer exuberance. But the ask is just getting stacked here, where there is just no way you can break through this. We'll have to wait. Yeah, I know. We'll have to wait to see if this can actually get broken through. There it goes down again, but bought up aggressively at the quarter dollar. So higher lows incrementally here on BLMZ. We'll have to see if we get a 30 breaker there.
Yeah, you know what else might break is Meta 500. Shout out to Hog Rider, some other people in the chat mentioning that Meta. I think Daryl Flinch as well. I was saying earlier, if Meta broke 500, I wanted, how much of that smoke? All of it. I wanted to be choking. I wanted to be like, I wanted to be in Meta's DMs. Excuse that weird analogy. So I don't know how I feel about how I executed this. And like, that's, regardless whether or not the trade worked out, I have to acknowledge that. I got short 500.5, and that is because if y'all remember Meta earnings day one, I had a Meta 500 short, and I had a fifth of the shares I wanted because it did a part, like a teeny tiny part fill. And again, you know, I should not be trading emotionally. I recognize that, but I also recognize if I want that Meta 500 breakdown, that's not going to maybe give me the smoke in the way I want it. So I was willing to try that and risk it, and we're going to see what happens here. I'm risking into 5 at 150s. That was the area we wicked into a little bit. I'm willing to risk $1 here because with Meta, like I said, I want all the smoke. I was looking at the daily chart. I think you can get, and I'll flip back to the daily chart to show you guys. Thanks again to everyone for mentioning this, because I was looking at my side chart last time. I was like, oh, I'm at a 502. Then you look again, and then all of a sudden it's at like just around that 5. So we'll see if this breaks. But basically the level I liked here in Meta for some potential profit taking around that 495s. If you see all of this trophy action, we just got a bit of an ask creep to the downside. Let's see if we can get that ask to drop down here. I would like to see some downward movement for META, though I don't love necessarily what I'm seeing on the bid. We're going to wait here. This is getting a little bit bamboozly, but hey, Meta, I've traded Eli Lilly. If you're going to bamboozle me with some spread, you've got another thing coming, Zuck and crew. So let's see what happens here. Mr. Lip saying there goes Adara again for all the smoke. Careful, we know what happened last. Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with these markets, right? Like, but the thing is, you can't be afraid to try as long as you have the risk and you're risking appropriately. In this case, yes to both. Then I think you can go for these trades. So just to clarify my strategy for this, I'll be moving down my stop once we break below 500. Should we break below 500? I guess once a little bit excitable there. But if we break below 500, obviously we'll be moving the stop as we go. But my big profit taking area that I am looking for, my big white whale area, my AAPL level, shout out to Moby Dick there, is going to be, like I said, around 495. I have enough that I'm actually willing to piece in and out as well, but it looks like we might not need to make that decision because Meta trying to creep up back here into that 50150s. It is, though, same thing kind of as the Qs, and should have been trusting what I saw in the Qs a little bit more before I was like, dive right in, the water's fine, Adara, take your Meta short. But we've got here, let me pull up the Meta book so I can just look at the Qs here. Q's trying to get a little bit bullish here. We did make a lower low, but we're trying to bounce off the 90 EMA. Let's see if we hold on to 449s on the Qs. I can't believe it's already 106, Sharif. We're going to do that last lesson pretty soon here, of course. Right now, I appreciate that. Right now, I'm just trying to ride out this Meta. Shout out to Zuck and his little suede jacket. Hopefully, we're not going to be swayed by too much of this price action. I just want to wait and see what we do. If we get to that 50150s, obviously, I'll get out. We also... Okay. We will get that ready.
Allow me a hot second here to set up. So do you want, because yesterday, I guess, I screwed up because you were supposed to be person number 2, right?
I don't know.
And I think I screwed up. I actually took your little read there. What is it called? Trade the pool, right?
It is.
Are we ready to go or are we not ready?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, beauty. So do you want to be person number 1 or figure 1, Adara?
I'll be person number 1 this time.
Go.
Okay. Now, you want to pay attention, okay? Because this is a game changer for stock traders.
You can get funds to trade stocks and don't even have to be a professional trader. Literally anyone can join.
Trade the Pool is a prop firm that funds stock traders worldwide. No more risking your own money and no more PDT rule, okay? You can even get funded with up to $260,000 buying power.
And trade real shares. You can short any penny stocks and you don't trade alone. You can trade with other traders in the Trade the Pool community on Discord. Search tradethepool.com and you'll find all the information you need. I wish there was something like this when I started trading. Amazing, Adara.
Right? And I'm definitely going to check this out. Trade the Pool. Before you dive into the pool with your trades, check out Trade the Pool. Also, thank you to the super chat from ForexAU. I smelled the Roaring Kitty return GME, baby. Yeah, shout out to Forex. I know you were in the chat earlier, I believe, as well with some super chats. I think I heard that name being said with some GME super chats. So shout out to you because the game was definitely on. The game was afoot.
Oh, get it, Adara.
On GameStop. Thank you there for the shout out. Yeah, shout out to Sherlock Holmes. But you didn't have to be Sherlock to figure out what happened there. Roaring Kitty tweeted he dished his Chewy position. Chewy actually recovered kind of beautifully, though. As I said, that Chewy kind of around that 26.30 level is pretty interesting. And I like that we've kept bouncing off that 26.25, 26.30. But yeah, GME, I just typed in GMR, which is not what I meant to type. But yeah, shout out to you, ForexAU. You knew all of the, what do you call like that? Because I know there's apes for AMC. Is that GME as well? What, do they have a name, the apes?
That is a good question, Adara. I don't know.
The gamers? I don't know.
Maybe.
Whoever they are, the Jimmies and Amies of the world, they are, which shout out to Bears versus Bulls for teaching me that term because I didn't know. But yeah, whatever those are, I think that's Shout out to you guys. And also, guys, get into that chat to let us know what tickers you are looking at, because we want to make sure that Obi and Neil cover all of the tickers of your choice within reason. You can only vote for 5. I have a feeling GameStop might be on there, but we'll find out for sure in just 50 minutes, guys. So 50 more minutes with us. Hopefully you're excited. We're pumped for that. Bit of a bottoming tail candle on Meta. We'll see if this actually ends up bouncing at this 500 area. Happy I tried the short, but we might change our opinion on that. But again, not emotion, just based on what you see on that here book. And that breakdown before towards 500 was compelling enough for me to decide to get short there. Let's see what happens. How are you doing?
Good. I'm watching GameStop. Neil was nice enough to get me shorts, but I don't think I'm going to use them quite yet. There goes the break of the volume weighted average price. That was exactly on my side chart here, 23.25. This thing looks like it's going back. It did find its footing close to where you would expect it to find its footing. The low of the wick candle there took us to 22.50, whereas the I don't want to call it the pre-market support level. It's the IB high, was around 22.58. But if you look at the closing prints relative to each other, it does jive. But you would have probably got stopped out if you had a hard stop. So here it goes again, 23.50. Let's see what it does with that half dollar level. We did have some initial support there at 23.50. Does it act as resistance this time? Here's the book. Not that much size right now on the book at the 50 penny level, but we know with these type of stocks, likelihood is it's iceberg or it's going to come in at that level, so it won't be reflected prior to it reaching. So we'll keep an eye. One way to do that, to be able to kind of gauge what size is coming in when we get to the price, is to keep your eye on the time and sales. That'll reflect everything. So keeping an eye on GameStop, it did breach the volume weighted average price, but it is at that 50 penny level. And we know from previous price action, 50 pennies did act as resistance. Does it now act, support, does it now act as resistance? We're going to find out in a hot second. Apple's really going here. Okay, so it looks like the market may be, I haven't looked at the Mag 7 at all, but I just had the Apple chart. All right, here's the other look right now. BLMZ broke down again, but is defending this 206. So I was able to wet my beak up here. I'm right back in again to defend this level. The reason I don't want to say confident in this trade, but the reason I like this particular trade is because it's so close to where my line in the sand is. It would behoove me to add there because my stop is so close to my add level that if I do get stopped out, it's such a small loss, right? So we're in here. I did add at 205. We're printing 205 right now. The breakdown below 2, and I'm ending the trade. So somebody's going to have to step up and buy it. Otherwise, I want no more smoke. Simple as that. Let's see what we're doing over here with the market in general. So we did find a bit of a bid here on the market, or at least it seems. Let's see what the NQ is doing. All right, so the NQ is back above 18.5. You figured the mean reversion would have to come at some point here. And now you're getting the likes of Apple. So I was right about this softy trade. I had something here because this one is obviously stronger than the rest, just given where it is relative to the moving averages. It looks like Apple and softy maybe the strongest of the bunch here. Let's not disrespect NVIDIA. It's also above the 20. It's really Meta and Google. And yeah, those are the weakest, quite frankly. I think Adara has something there with Meta being the absolute weakest on the day right now. It can't even get above the 10 while its counterparts are all above the 20. So interesting look here on the market. You know, you figured the bleeding would stop at some point. So we'll see there. So it did get punched out there. Oh, you punk. So this one is a specialist breakdown, but it's not going to outwit me. If we keep going up here on this one, so this did stop me out for BLMZ on the remaining amount there. But if it holds too, if it's just a quick specialist breakdown, then move above, I'll get back in. I don't want to be quick to get back in, though. I like my price by waiting at here. I had 215s. If I get in here, it's all good there. So keeping my eye on BLMZ, guys, because we did break that $2. But it's like it's kind of like a hammer candle with a bottom wick through. I don't want to call it quite yet. I'm not going to jump into it, but interesting $2 area here on BLMZ. Let's look here at GME. Where's my GME? Okay, because we have shorts on this one. But look, initially it looks like it did reject that $0.50. Comes back in to that $0.25. But we're right back up. So if that's the case here, I don't like my chances for a short unless we really reject that 250. I don't have to be first to the party. As Neil says often, getting it on the back end, so to speak, having the stock or the equity or the instrument itself prove to you that, yeah, this is a resistance level and reject off that level. So I'm packing my patience here, keeping my eye on GME, keeping my eye on BLMZ to see if it does.
Oh, keeping your eye on it.
Oh, I got it.
That's
like
brilliant.
that, Ram.
You're so quick on the ball, remaining.
Yeah, she's killing it. Well, I've been saying keep my eye alive. I guess she's had an opportunity to think this through. So shout out to Ram. Goff deal. All right, keeping my eye on GME. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, that is the most jarring transition ever, I think, with literally jarring transition, not just joking because of that. I was like, oh, time, hello. But yeah, shout out there. I hope you killed those GME trades. Hope you print.
Thank you, Adair.
Do you say? Tesla. I am long Tesla 216. I have feelings about this long at 216. And honestly, part of it is I'm like, Tesla, all your Mag 7 friends are going, except for Meta. Meta's in its own category of, I don't know what you're doing, girl. But Tesla, I would like you to get a bit of a move off the schneid. The other reason I'm really hesitant about this Tesla short is I had that Tesla long earlier, and I'm not trying to be like, I don't mean like, oh, biased because I was long earlier. I mean, that level set up. This was such a random area of support there, that 216. So that worked as a long. I'm like, this support could flip to resistance. That is what these stocks tend to do. I like the long for now in terms of how we're shaping up in the book, and I'm willing to risk it into 75s. But if Tesla doesn't get off the schneid soon, I might get a little bit, wayward and look for some other opportunities that are not in the Cybertruck. I want to take out half the position here at 40s, 216 40s. If we get to that level, because that was a level I witnessed on the book earlier, was very spicy. You could see a little bit of that chop and turn action here as well, that wick into 40s and that quadunk. I don't even think Tesla's going to take us to 10s. Every time we get a little bit of a bid, we get, the sellers coming in like, oh, no, we don't want to do that. Close that Cybertruck door. Shout out to Sharif, who unfortunately was able to be in the Cybertruck. Yeah. But all jokes aside there, that is the look I like on Tesla. I don't think I've had any trades since I last saw you guys. I got stopped out of Meta. That happened, so I will discuss that because that's what we do here on the show. So Meta stopped me. Oh my gosh, Meta. Okay, Tesla, I might just get out of Tesla flat because I'm not feeling as good about this as I do about Meta. You can risk into 502s, you get long 50150s. And the fact that it's this week as the market's going down, sorry, Tesla, we're going to get out here. We're going to take our stance. Again, we're not trading for P&L. We're trading for progress and learning, which, again, I know is a really, cliched whatever, but I stand by it. It's how I feel, and it's the type of trader I'm trying to be. And so be the trader you want to see in the world, I guess, to use another platitude over here. We're trying to just get out of this Tesla if we may. Basically flat here. Let's go. So there we go. We're out of Tesla. Let's see if Meta's going to give us anything here. We're, like I said, risking to 502s. Let's get involved like 35s. I think that's reasonable. And let's see what we get here, because I would like all the smoke. Sure, I don't even think I'm going to get filled over here on this Meta. That is how violent it's being. I think I hitched my wagon to the right, Mag 7 name. I hitched my Megan, I guess, to the right ticker. Bad Meg pun.
I like it.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Let's see what we do here at 501s. If we break, if we hold 501s, then maybe we wait for this point of entry. If we break below 501s, we'll just get involved 501s. Like I said, with Meta, I do not mind risking more. I'm looking for at least a 5-point move. As I said, I would love every single ounce of smoke that I can breathe in, to use a kind of a very intense analogy there. If we get to, there's a level I liked, 495s. But now we're doing a bit of a bid creep on Meta, which is interesting. Meta, are you bullish? Meta, tell me what you want.
Tell me what you want,
just communicate
baby.
With me, Meta. DM me. Send me a WhatsApp. Shout out to Zuck. You know what I mean? But don't, you can't trade with just Zuck. You can't trade with pure Zuck. You need to trade with technicals. I don't love, because Meta owns it too.
Yeah, bro, where are you at? Where are you at in this world? You don't know Zuck owns
Instagram
WhatsApp?
DMs, and then
true.
It threw you off.
Oh, okay.
That's actually, maybe not. I mean, yes, maybe not. You're right. Yeah, this spread getting super tight here on Meta. This
Get
could
it,
be
Ram.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there might be some sellers getting left on red here. I am not going to be getting.
That's a statement.
Oh my gosh, Sharif, I actually might be changing my case on Meta. No, okay. I'm not. No, we sold off. Okay, there we go. Not sold off, but we had that weakness I wanted. Okay, we're going to go back to my initial plan here. 35s. This size. Let's go, Sharif. I'm going to be having that Meta book up, and again, risking into 502s, and we're going to get that lesson ready to go. Are you looking at anything else before we get into the leçon du jour?
I think I'm going to get out of Apple here, Adair. It's rejecting off the 50. I'm at break even right now, and it's rejecting off the 50 exponential. And quite frankly, I don't feel comfortable being in a long on the MAG 7, and it's really having trouble breaking through that 50 penny level. Four topping tail candles, albeit on the 1 minute. So I don't want to jump out of this too quickly. I already have a stop in place, but you know, it's doing what I expected to do here, which is reject. So yeah, my spidey sense is telling me to get out. My hands are not following suit, so that's the problem.
Isn't that the worst when that happens?
Right. So we'll see exactly what we get there. I mean, this could be a bull flag, but again, I'm just seeing what I want to see, I think, at these levels. It's hard to look positive when the day has been so negative. And be quite honest with you, it's an anemic 18.5 break and take, right? We get up into 18.525, a couple of candles, they're not really ascending, so you can kind of get the feeling that this might not work out all that well. I'm also short GameStop. I'm looking at wetting my beak at $0.01 of a dollar, and the reason I'm getting out or looking at profiting if it does break down is because there was a consolidation area in and around there. So my stop is going to be through the break of the $0.50 to the north side, and it just popped up right there, so we'll see what we get there. And Apple showing some weakness. So here we go. I mean, kind of expected some weakness to come through here. If we get the pop on the future to break through 18.525, I think Apple goes. But if we reject 18.525, get it, Neil. What are you listening to? The one that I was just singing? Yes, man. I put that earworm in you. I knew it. Yeah. I love that song, man. Who's that by, Neil? It's by Guy. That's right. I forgot about that, man. That's been eons ago. You can't fault me for forgetting that. But yeah, I love that song. I'm dating myself, which is absolutely fine because I tell everybody my age. I'm just proud of it. I know, right? But it's all good there, right? Here we go, 50 again. Can we get the break of 50? All right, so Apple's going a little bit over here, not bad. Breaking through that 50 penny level. The future, all right, the future's at 18.525. I don't want to wet my beak here. I mean, this isn't the trade, 10 pennies above, so I'm just going to hold on. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. That's fine. GameStop is above the $0.50. Didn't cross quite yet. Good thing I came to this one because, well, there we go. We got stopped at a GameStop. So we'll go 2 for 3 on GME. Now I have to cancel that order. If it does tank off this level, I'll be fine. But now I'm actually looking a little bit bullish here because GME just reclaimed VWAP, took that 50 penny level. So let's see if we can ride this trend back up here, possibly on GameStop. We'll go long here. So we're long at 58. Let's see if we can wet our beak a little bit up here. We'll check that out. Apple still below the $0.50. It did topping tail. And let me see what the future is doing because the future is going to be operative here. It is back at that 18.525. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. Let Apple zig and zag. But what's the look at there?
Yeah, so we're going to do the lesson. A couple things to mention before the lesson. Someone was asking what the Apple event is about. You can check out the week ahead on Sunday where I'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's called It's Glow Time for some reason, and they're expected to talk a little bit more about that iPhone 16. Also, I'm still in Meta. We're chilling in Meta. Meta right now I think it made a lower high from what I can tell in the book, so we're just going to be waiting. I don't have the chart up. I'm only watching the book because that's going to, for how I trade, give me a better sense of what I'm looking for. Also, thank you to Drew Longworth for letting me know that the SPY rejected my 541.50 level. Looks like it's trying to break out of it right now, though. I'm just looking at the book there. Also, shout out to JKL146. Oh, NVIDIA. Singing Canada National Anthem. Okay, I can sing that. Yeah, and I'm also wearing red, I guess. Shout out to Canada. NVIDIA coming into that 103 level. That could be pretty pivotal. But right now we're going to pivot to what's happening for the lesson of the day. Thank you again to JKL for that super chat. So we're going to talk today about speed lines, and not lines from Rick Ross's speeding. No, they're things from the chart, guys, that we could talk about. So speed lines are basically a series of diagonal lines that are drawn from significant highs or lows on a chart. And unlike typical trend lines that connect reaction highs or lows, speed lines are designed to account for the acceleration or deceleration of the trend. And what they do basically is provide a dynamic way to monitor the pace at which prices are moving in a given direction. So here are some speed lines here. You've got your base there, right? This is your trend line. And then as we kind of have like a speeding and acceleration intensity of the trend there, you can move these lines. Then eventually we kind of break below these lines, and then you kind of broken the trend line. So it's interesting to kind of see here. You've got one trend, a couple of different lines off of which you can be bouncing and projecting. It's something I want to learn a lot more about. Shout out to Obi, who I know is definitely using the speed lines and has talked about this before. So speed lines are drawn first by identifying the highest or lowest point in the trend, so either a peak in a downtrend or a trough in an uptrend. And then once you've got that point, you've got 3 lines drawn to intercept the price at distinct percentage levels. So you can kind of see here, right? Typically 36, 33, or 66% retracements of that movement from the start of the trend to the peak for an uptrend or to the trough or a downtrend, which gives you a visual representation of how fast or slow the trend is moving. We've talked a lot about trend steepness, and this is one way you can kind of measure the steepness of that trend. How do you construct these speed? Oh, we are, yeah, never mind. There we go, sorry about that. Let's talk about, though, some way you can construct in a bullish way. So you've got your trend line here. So from the trend starting point, which is all the way back here in March 2020 for Lennar. Shout out to Lennar, who's reporting in 2 weeks, guys. Draw 2 lines through the 1/3 and the 2/3 markers, right? And then you've got your 1/3, your 2/3. You can kind of see the trend steepness and what areas we bounce off of in this trend. Now here's one way you do it to the downside. So you've got your top of your trend for this Nike. And then Nike, as it runs to the downside, as it jumps off that cliff, does some cliff diving, you can see all the levels here, your 1/3 and 2/3 markers. So you can see kind of the extent of this downtrend. Also, you can use fibs as well, which is pretty cool because we love when indicators are able to intersect, and you can use them in different ways. And because one, as we said, indicators are never supposed to be rules, they're going to be guides, right? So how they can all manifest together, you don't need to just use one. There's lots of fun interactions there. What is the purpose of speed lines, though? So their main goal is basically going to be helped to determine the strength of a trend. They can help traders recognize when a trend is accelerating too quickly or decelerating, which can signal an upcoming reversal or a correction. And so this concept can be really useful for dynamic markets where trends do not move at a steady pace, right? We can have some really wild herky-jerky trend movement, or let's say, you've got like a catalyst on a stock. If you're looking at longer term, you want to kind of see what's happening, maybe compare how it moved on that to our general movement. So you can see, is the trend accelerating? Is it slowing down? How do I want to interact with it? What levels are we hitting on both? That could be key as well. So what are some of the applications of speed lines when you're talking about trading? So they can help provide clues as to whether or not the market may reverse. Of course, just clues, right? They're tools, they're not rules. But if you've got the price breaking through the first speed line, so that would be the 33% retracement, that could indicate that you've got the trend maybe losing momentum. And if it falls through the second line, which is going to be your 66% retracement, a full reversal might be imminent. So that might be like a full tilt, you got to go. This can help traders determine when to enter or exit a position, or just to tighten your stop loss orders if you get a little bit of sense of the reversal. Now, here's one example of a speed line reversal. So you've got here holding of this trend, you've got your speed lines, then you've got this kind of move below, then look out below when we break below that last speed line. That is, look at these umbrella handle patterns. That's a lot of rain, blood red rain to the downside that you can kind of look at via these speed lines. So how do you adjust your position here? Because that's one thing you can also use these speed lines to do. In an uptrend, when price action will move steeply above the 33 or the 66% line, traders might expect a correction. And so in that case, they might be reducing their long positions, or they might be taking profits. In a downtrend, though, if you've got prices declining sharply through the lines, that can signal maybe a potential selling opportunity. And then you might have some traders increasing their short positions. You might be putting on your shorts or adding, another layer of shorts over your swim trunks. I don't know, because you're ready to take that dive to the downside, Sharif. That's what you're ready to do. But how do you adapt to changing trends, you may ask? Because speed lines can help you with that as well. Speed lines can help traders avoid prematurely exiting a trade by confirming that the trend's pace is still intact. Shout out to Obi. Obi and I we were doing some charting yesterday, and it was like, we were talking about charts, and like one thing I learned with speed lines is you can actually draw them to be like, hey, if you break below that speed line and you come back to the natural trend, maybe what the move you were looking for is over, or maybe that's a sign of support, resistance. Like you can use the different lines in confluence with one another to also to shout that out there. So just a lot of different ways you can look at their interactions and how you can adapt your trading to the changing of the trends. Also, what these do is they offer you some signals for adapting. Okay, Meta broke 500. Sorry, guys. All I'm going to say is it broke 500. I'm staying calm here. Like I said, I'm waiting.
Get it,
but
Dara.
I just wanted to announce that, and that's why I am just sitting here chilling and smiling. So, for instance, example, if you've got the price failing to break through any speed line, that can indicate really strong momentum and further trend continuation. So you might want to stay in that trade just a little bit longer. You might be the party speed line might still be intact there. But how do you use this with other technicals? Because as we said, we always love confluence on this show. So speed lines are going to work best in conjunction with tools like moving averages oscillators like the RSI, for example, and support and resistance levels. So for example, if you have that price breaking through a speed line and the RSI showing overbought conditions, it might strengthen your case for a reversal, which makes for a higher probability trading setup. So to conclude here, speed lines are an effective tool for gauging the momentum and sustainability of a trend. But with all analysis tools, like we've talked about this a lot, they're going to always be best used in combination with other methods of analysis. And traders can incorporate them into their trading plan by using them to identify when trends are likely to continue or reverse, manage your risk through better stop placement, and fine-tune your entry and exit points. Make sure that you fine-tune your understanding of it before you get involved, because this is just one little lesson. And yeah, you want to make sure you feel well-versed before you start taking your entries. Shout out to Real Trading. You can use a sim if you want. And also vote, guys, for your ticker of choice, ! Join space $. That ticker. That segment is brought to you by our sponsors and friends at Real Trading. And shout out to the sim, because that was really helpful for me as I started trading. Meta back above 500 here. I'll be watching movie 2 at 550, because 500.5, because that was a level I found interesting earlier. Right now, we're just kind of letting this thing see if it wants to go dunk any further. I might take some out at 500, but like I said, I have bigger ambitions for this year trade, Sharif. How are you doing?
Sounds good. I did well here on a couple of trades. GameStop, we were able to take 20 pennies, still holding a little bit over here. As it gets into that local high, I would say that local high is high 80s, mid 80s, coming a little bit down now. De-risked in the mid 70s. We'll see if we can continue moving up here as the future comes right back down. This trade on Apple is like the one that I'm most proud of. We were long. We got the break through the $0.50, came back into my entry, stopped out, quickly break even, added short aggressively, wet my beak. This, to me, was a 50-period rejection on the stronger names. So you saw it on Softy over here. Softy got into the 50. It rejected. I was looking at them because it was like all three of them were doing. Softy got in there. Apple got in there. NVIDIA got in there. Those are, like, I would submit to you, the strongest of the Mag 7 names. Maybe not in terms of percentage, but in terms of retracement ability, they were definitely able to get to the 50. But once they did get to the 50, that was all she wrote for now. What I'm watching to see here on Apple is if this higher low here on the future, momentarily below 18.5, if we reclaim 18.5 and then move back up, print a higher high above this 18.550, then I'll be looking for the long on either Apple, NVIDIA, or Microsoft. They seem to be the strongest of the bunch at the moment, but I still think that that is a big if still. I was about to say big but I'm like, oh, everyone's just going to say that in the chat, right?
Cal Burnett's going to get all excited.
Yeah, where is he, by the way? I haven't seen him in the chat.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to the big smiled one, styled one. He is all those things. So anyway, keeping my eye on Apple, keeping my eye on the future. Those are the trades that I'm in or that I'm looking at. The trade that I'm in, though, is GME as it comes back into that 70 area. I'm all eyes and ears to see if it gets out at or breaks through the 24. So this was the initial entry that we had, and you can see I got out there, top wick into 24 because of that whole dollar issue. Let's see if with this time around we put in a lower high, so can't quite make it up into that 23 mid 90s, or whether or not we get that next test of 24. So I'm keeping my eye here on the future because we're kind of putting a bit of a doji candle, I want to say, at 18.5, and Apple's trying to hold 221 after that retracement. So I'm not going to jump into this. I don't need to jump into this. I can see exactly where we are, if we hold, if we move back down, or if we consolidate. And that gives me three possible trades, obviously. So if we move back down, I will no problem take Apple short here, especially seeing where it's coming from. But if we get the hold up, I'll be looking long. Right now, though, I got to tell you, it feels like we are going to head down because 18.5 looks like it might be giving way. What I'm looking on the side chart here is this doji candle. And that's a candle we know to be a candle of indecision. But when you have a directional move like this, let's not put too much stock into one candle because your bias should be short until otherwise proven, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that's the look there. Keeping my options open, not going to take any other trades right now until one sets up to my liking. We're still into this GME trade. I want to see if this one breaks the high. My look will be to see whether it can take 24 this time around. First of all, though, it's got to get above that 23.85. That's the local high right there. I didn't wet my beak there because it was too close to where I wet my beak earlier. I'd like to continue to hold to see whether $24 factors in or not. What are you guys looking at? A tool says seems like a recession has arrived. I don't know, brother. You might want to Google seasonality, see what comes up with that, because this is normal for September. Drew Longworth, does AMC and GME run when the market is down? That's a good question. I don't think specifically today they're running because the market is down, but the Roaring Kitty did tweet something to the effect of maybe he's dropping Chewy, something like this, or whatever this ends up being over here. The Catman is known for his kind of vague tweets, so to speak. There he is. This is all that it is. There's no text attached, but yeah, everybody getting their comment on there on X. So we'll keep an eye here on GME and AMC. I don't typically trade GME, but here it comes back down to the $0.50 a dare. Yeah,
Meta back above 500 here. I will be getting out if we, oh no, I'm on the daily chart there, wake up. So yeah, we're kind of at this 500 area. If we stay decisively above this 500, I'll be getting out. I'm just watching the book here. To me, the book looks like we could have a little bit more downside. I was just looking at the daily chart to get a sense of some other levels I like. One level that I like, I know I said I was waiting, all patiently on bended knee for Meta to come to me at 494.50. I realize that's a bit unrealistic. It's one thing to have, goals in a trade, and there's another for it to be like, hey, Meta's already sold off $16 or $17. How much more can it really do? Do you know what I mean? So with that in mind, I like 499.80s, or so 498.50s as a level, and that was a level I saw on the daily chart. If we that was also a level that was interesting to me when I was in this short last time, and that's where I find sometimes the eidetic memory comes in handy because I know what levels I saw interaction with on the book, on the stock, whatever. So that'll be something I'll be watching for Meta for sure. I'm cool with staying this if we stay below 500 because we had a fake break back into 500 and Meta was like, am I supposed to care? I mean, I guess you don't have to, Meta. That being said, part of me does also want to de-risk. We're kind of trying to be strong here. And Meta, and I was going to look to the Qs direction, but Meta and the Q was not really playing in the same ballpark, which is why I liked this short more than I liked that Tesla long that I was in very briefly and basically got out flat because I was like, you know what? I am not feeling the passion for that trade. That's something Sean may even mentioned yesterday. Sometimes you have minimal conviction in a trade. And then in that case, either size down or just get out. I do not like this bid creep here at 500s. We will be getting out of 500, Sharif. I am pleased to punch with that. So there we go. Pleasure knowing you, Meta. That was a fun time there for META. We get a rejection of that $500.30 level, which is another level of interest. I might get back in, but happy with what I did there with this trade. To be fair, though, the Tesla long also would have worked. But again, I wasn't trying to take it for P&L. I was trying to take it for progress, and that was also why I could justify choosing my fighter, and that fighter was Meta. Meta now back below 500s. Like I said, I think one of the biggest things I need to work on is my stop, where I put my stops as I adjust my stops, like when the trades are working, right? So that's the thing I need to work on. I always, like I said, I like using the book, so that's why I like that the Meta 500 was interesting to me on the book. Tesla, though, rejecting that 216. What's NVIDIA doing? Looking at all, I don't like trading this many tickers. Like I've traded 7 tickers today, which is, I don't necessarily love that. But my best, some of my best days I'm trading more tickers, but I find as I tighten my styles, I try to get slightly cleaner trading. You're trading less and less tickers. I'm going to stop yapping now, though. Meta did not, Meta worked out. It's fine. It didn't give you exactly what you wanted. It's going to keep working, though. Let's see what we do here on NVDA as it curls around that 102.20s area. Guys, make sure you're voting also for any tickers that you want to see discussed on that here rundown. Get in the chat, ! Join. Space. $, that ticker. Let us know. Yeah, Johan, there's no snow in Toronto right now. No. It is just all good vibes. Bro. No, I was referencing other things. Yeah, like I said, I am no coffee for me today even. I am just high energy and having a great time over here in this market. And yeah, Ms. Lucia, progress and learning is P&L, which someone was telling me that still stands for P&L. Yeah, that's kind of the point, I guess, of the joke. Yeah. So kind of, I know a little bit of a, kindergarten style joke, but you got to do what you got to do. Wow, Meta really working inverse of the rest of these tickers, Sharif. We have Meta pushing higher as the rest of these going lower. Meta, if you, like I said, I'm willing to get back in with less size if it wants to. Okay, it did reject that 530 level. Let's wait, let's see what happens. Right now, scheming, plotting, scheming, getting money. Broadcom, I should have given Broadcom more attention because that held up pretty well. But you know what? You can't trade every ticker. You take the stocks you like and you aggressively journal about everything so you can try to get a little bit better every single day. Ren's who asking for me to have a dollar club for that meta trade.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Kind of fun. You know, I'm trying to, like I said, try to separate it from the money and the progress, but sometimes the dollar clubs feel pretty nice to get.
Oh, yeah.
How are you doing?
Still nursing this trade on GME. I added at the $0.50 over here. We're going to give this 10 pennies because there was some support at the $0.50, but if it goes, it goes. Looking to see if it holds. We almost got our beak wet there at 63s. Packing my patience with this one. It's still holding at the 10 exponential moving average. So that's keeping me optimistic about it. We'll see if the 10 exponential is operative here or the $0.50. We'll see which one. We're printing 49s right now. So we'll keep tabs on that. I'm also keeping an eye on Apple because it's getting awfully close to the low of the day. The low of the day, guys, is 220.46. We're printing 63s. Okay, I got to worry about GME here. As I might get stopped out for the last remaining amount. Let's see if we do break that 40 penny area. That's going to be as far as we let this go, or it bounces back up. It's going to have to decide. So packing my patience over here, knowing full well this is a lower high and it's a rejection of $24. So this could be the technical look that we've been looking for. We have shorts on this. So this comes back down. I'm absolutely interested in getting shorts, but I think I'll wait this time. There, we're going to get stopped out. I think I'm going to wait this time for the short below the volume weighted average price. Last time, you know, I tried to take the short. It didn't work out all that well. Flipped long. It did work out well. So really don't need to get cut up on it. There's a rule, and the rule is there for a reason. I'm going to short it if it's below the volume weighted average price, and I'll go long if it's above the volume weighted average price. But right now, it's going to have to make its mind up whether it wants to hold 40 pennies, retrace, and do whatever. All right. So the other thing that I'm looking at is Apple. It's awfully close to the low of the day right now, as we just stated. The future, though, not at the low of the day. So the future is about 40 points above the low, which is 18,430. Apple supposedly was stronger than the market. Don't really agree currently. Maybe percentage-wise, it's faring better than the market. 2.62 for the NQ, only 0.82 for Apple. Chart pattern-wise, it's at lows while the future's not. So that is my look there. I did get stopped out, sadly, of GME there for the last remaining amount. Still positive on it, so we'll see exactly what we get there. Now, if we get the bounce off VWAP, which is looking like it's what it's doing. Yeah, I missed that. I shouldn't have been basing it off the 10 exponential when the 10 exponential and VWAP were so close on the 5. That's a mistake and an oversight by me. But we'll look to get back in if this one pops up. However, if it comes back below VWAP, that's where we're going short. Back to Apple here as we're talking about that. Here we go at the low of day. 46 is the low of day. We're at the $0.50 right now. The future's still red. And by that I mean it's still putting in red candles. Like it's not looking like it's going to bounce at these areas. So what I think I can do certainly is to get in here and then to put a low day break, right? But that's not what you want to do. Here comes the low day break. All right, so we just bounced off 46s. We're printing 47s, guys. So we are at, for all intents and purposes, we are at the low of the day. So if we don't find a bounce at this random area here on the future, well, then it's going to be another low of day break. So we're going to pack our patience and we're going to go in. So we'll go 220, and then we'll give this one the old community college try here. If it breaks down, it breaks down. That's the way it is, and we'll take the hit there. So we're at the low of the day on Apple. We're going to give this one a try, see if it bounces back. The future at 18,470, below 18.5 again. So the future not able to catch a bid here, despite trying to work back into that 18,550. That seems like it was a long time ago. And look at the chart pattern that manifested after that. Like that's your prototypical lower high. Couldn't even get back into the 50 exponential like Apple and the other ones were. So here we go. We're printing low. Oh boy, I don't know why my stop's not working. Oh, there it is. Now we get stopped out. So Apple sinking, the future sinking. So we'll go. Well, no, I'm still positive on Apple. Good. But we took a bit of a hit there, so we lost about 20 pennies there on Apple, full disclosure. So let's see exactly what we get here. Do we get a bounce up or do we flip short? So Softy coming into the low day. Apple just printed the new low day, but we're still not at the low day on the future. But do we get that 220 move? That seems like an interesting move. Right back into that 220 area. Packing my patience. We'll see what we get. And we will not get upset there.
Yeah, like that's always good not to get upset. You know, we always say you don't want to be angry as a trader. AVGO. I will say I'm a little upset I missed this long because I saw this support. I don't even think I mentioned this. I saw this support and I really should have been getting long, risking it into 137.70. I have no good reason for why I didn't. I don't know why I was looking at Lily today. I mean, I did like that 895 level, but there were better tickers in play. Just because a ticker is in play doesn't mean it's the best opportunity, right? Like Meta 500, I stand by attempting that because, and like I said, that worked out. Like Meta 500, that's a different level, right? That's something else. But Lily, I should not. Anyways, not the point. Where's the next trade? We found this Broadcom here. I have lots of conviction in this. I know I did get long here at a bit of a support resistance flip area when we have higher lows. Or sorry, I got short. But I stand by this because I waited and watched and we were not getting up with that aggression that I really thought we would. Then I get involved. I'm risking into 139s, right? We get to 138.99s and then we floosh. So I was like, okay, Broadcom, you want me to feel a little bit more, broaden my confidence in this trade? Because you have. So let's AVG go, or AV go, AV go, I don't know. In this ticker, in terms of levels I like here, 138.40s, 138s, 137.70s, just based on previous levels. I have no idea if all those levels were hit. If we get below 138.40s, I will be adding. I will start taking profit at 138s, and I will save a tiny piece for a brief little dream at 137.70s. Let's go. Let's AV go. A little bit of green coming in on this book as we have the cues to the downside. Is also worth noting here too. I have to, and I'm saying this for myself, I have to be cognizant of the fact that the Broadcom and the cues have not necessarily been moving in tandem. So it's a little bit harder when you can't necessarily use the futures as your compass for some of these trades. SPY definitely, I would say as well, curling to the downside, cues curling to the downside. Broadcom's like, do I have to? I mean, like, yeah, you could. It's up to you, Broadcom. I have no reason to leave right now. Unless you break above 139, risking 20 cents, as I said, looking for maximum like $1 here. That's a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. They're not always going to work out, but you got to take chances here. If you see stuff you like, you have 5 minutes left to vote. Exclamation point. Join. Space. That ticker. You could see what Sean and Obi have been looking at all day, what they've been trading. Maybe you want to know how they would have taken that Chewy move or that GME move. You know what I mean? Maybe you got some questions about that. You know that Neil talked about a little bit of that as we switched to his lesson of the day. So let us know here, guys. Palantir for long for possible S&P inclusion, says Vicky and Novak. Yeah, I heard a little bit about I've heard a lot of speculation there about Palantir and that inclusion. Shout out to Sean and his hat. I'm sure you'd be very happy with that. Let's take a look here at Palantir on the daily, because this is going to be a bit more of a long. Okay. Palantir actually looking a lot like Broadcom, but more bullish to me because we are bouncing off that 90 MA and VWAP right now. Higher highs, higher lows here. Let's see if we can eclipse this area of the 30-10 variety. I want to take a look at the daily chart, though, to get some sense of levels heading into this potential. Again, we don't know yet. S&P inclusion, because I know, shout out to you, Vicky and Novak, for mentioning this. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful uptrend. I got excited there. Okay, almost a pushback. Look at that 29 level. We hold this as resistance, we wick into it, curl back down, then we actually hold another level that's interesting to me, which is gonna be 26s, then we swoop to the upside. And then we come and bounce, guess where? Around 30s, which is the top of those wicks with that 29 area. So hope I'm describing this well, but the point I'm trying to make is there's a resistance to support flip here. And I think if that 30s holds, that could be a good look. Worth noting that we have a bit of lower highs with that base of 30s. That we've broken lower than that today, mind you, but just something to be cognizant of. I would say Broadcom getting a little close to my 138.40 level. If we can't hold this, this might be a bit of a level. If we break below this nicely, I want to add. If not, we're going to be taking some out here. So let's see what Broadcom does as we push into my level. Do you have any weekend plans, Sharif?
I do, Adira. I'm playing tennis on clay courts for the first time ever in my life. I'm going to a country club to which I'm not a member, because I'm not a member of a country club, but the person I'm going with is. Nice. And so hopefully we'll have a great match. She's actually a better player than I am, so she teaches me some of the stuff, but I hit the ball harder, and that upsets her. So yeah, it's all good.
I love your tennis metrics. Oh, no.
Right? All right. Well, we're printing really good well here on Apple. It's bouncing down, though. I was able to wet my beak. I took big shares here on AAPL, added into the pop, wet my beak on the way back down, but it's coming in aggressively to the top over here. A couple of bottoming tail candles on the chart. And I expected this at the 220 level. I just thought we would get into 220. So I'm not going to let this go against me. If it comes back into 44s, I've already wet my beak on this trade. Here we go. 44s incoming. We get 44. Well, I shouldn't give it right to my price. It's got to be based on technicals, bruh. All right, here we go. Coming right back down. Come back, baby. Let's go. Apple, go down. Let's see if it comes back down. But if it pops back up, I'm going to get out of the trade. Let's see how many exits I have left. Oh, we still got some size. All right, so we've taken 3 beak wetters. We still got some size. So let's see if this one can come back down into the mid-20s. Let's hang out at the $0.25 because I'm born the 25th, and I like that number. So if we see a 25th print, I want to get involved there. Otherwise, it pops above my entry. That's the end of the trade, but I'd like a 25 print, and then we can hold a piece for the dream, right? Because we'll only have a little bit of shares left. 27's now showing up on the bid. Well, come on, bruh. All right, we'll take it right there, and then we won't get upset, and we're going to let this one ride. I've got one more out, 4 out so far here on the dead one. Let's see if we can get a 220 touch. Like, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like a 220 touch, please, Mr. Dead One. All right, we'll see what we get.
Yeah, Sharif, I'll do what I can.
Get it in there. IB, I hate clay courts. Thanks, bro. I'm so excited to play now that you hate it. Vic, yeah, Novak. LOL. Clay courts are better on your knees. Yeah, Henrik, thank you. And I think you can slide on them a little bit more too, right? So it's a bit of a different type of game where you can't slide on these clay courts or, you know, that much on the grass, like a Wimbledon style. So that's the look there. The breacher ledge is forming on NFLX. Shout out to the OG Darwin as well with the little emoticon there with the tennis. So we'll keep tabs on that. I'm still holding this 220 Adara. I got to get up soon, so I'm just gonna let this part ride. How's your trade over there going?
I'm really happy with what's happening right now in Broadcom. I added once we got into that 138.40. We are holding it right now. I should have waited for a bit stronger of a rejection before adding, but I'm not rejecting you, Broadcom. You're still in my good book. You know, you could still take me for dinner or something. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, all jokes aside,
you tell it, Adara.
Broadcom is like, this looks pretty bearish to me. I know we've got some green coming into the book, but I feel like we have a lot of buyers trying to keep this thing up. This 138.40 has been such a level that I will be absolutely looking for day 2 moves on this. I am obsessed with what it's doing here. And I want to be getting the first half of my position, or almost half, because I realized I like fat fingered an order and I had one less share than I wanted. So almost half of the position at one. Isn't that funny when that happens? 138. I think it's 01s I have set here. Other than that, we're going to be basically looking for prior bar highs as a stop. It's a little bit hard when these bars are that tight, even on the 1 minute, but we're going to be watching what we do here. Other than that, I'm willing to get out like flat. Like I don't want to give up much of this move, but I also don't want to take profits prematurely either. I'm watching what we do at 138.40. So what else are people looking at here? Iron slide. Okay, there we go. What else are people looking at? DCN Spy Daily. Thank you, Rise and Shine Trader, for the kind words. I really appreciate that. I'm just really happy to be here and happy to bring a positive vibe because I'm lucky enough, and I've said this before, I've only ever traded, oddly enough, A, on this floor and B, in front of you guys. So I've never felt like the isolation of trading alone in a trading floor or not in a trading floor, like in your room at home. And so, if I can bring any positivity, because I know it's even like, there's trading can still have, the mental elements for sure of difficulty. And so, I mean, if I'm able to bring like any kind of, positivity there, I'm happy to do that. So I really appreciate your kind words. We're going to de-risk some of this Broadcom here because I don't like that we're bouncing off 40s. Let's see what we do. We're going to get some here at 51s. We're going to get out, we'll do a quarter. Let's see what happens here because I think Broadcom might be trying to curl back up. And in that case, I will have to go. Airbnb says DC4L. I have not thought about that ticker in quite some time. Let's take a look at not A space B. That is right there. We're going to take a look at Airbnb here in a moment, if I can get that thing loaded. Airbnb. So Airbnb here, let's take a look at what this one's doing. Okay, I want to switch to a 5 minute. I like that. That is a V-shaped recovery. Wow, Airbnb. Oh my gosh, DC4L. Thank you very much for letting me know about this. Look at this chip top here at 114.40 to 114.20. Then we quadrunk. Then we curl right back up. And look where we find a bit of support on this pseudo bear flag. Bull flag, 114.20. Also, I'm getting go to Broadcom here as we push back into 60s. Took a bit of profit on that, but what's the point of profit? You're here to learn. I mean, eventually you're here to profit, but you're here to learn first. So we got to basically flat on that one. Thank you. If we break back below 138.40s, I might try shorting it again. Airbnb on the daily chart. I know I said bull flag on the daily chart, though. This thing is a bear flag, if I've ever seen one. Big quadunk. Now we have a rounded top. So this is like honestly 2 very bearish patterns, plus breaking below that support at 146. And then look at the support resistance flip here at 155s. Yeah, this Airbnb daily chart is pretty yucky. But on the intraday, I like the 114.20 level. Also, this is interesting. Airbnb was the first, this one and Lulu, I believe, my first S&P 500 inclusions since when I started on the floor. So shout out to you, Airbnb. Much like CrowdStrike and SMCI, I'm sure the S&P 500 is like, why did I choose you? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Just some of these recent S&P inclusions have been a little bit, bleh. How are you doing?
Yeah. Good. I did well here on Apple. I'm happy with this trade. We got, this is like, I don't know, one of the bigger positions I've been in a long time. I don't take big positions on the show, but we added here because it's just so bearish today. I mean, it's just like, you know, everything's so directional to the downside. I said, look, this $0.50 was very interesting earlier on. We had multiple bounces at the $0.50. Just go and check the chart from earlier. We're going to work our way back to the $0.50 apparently. So I'm like, no, that's not it. If we move back into the $0.50, which we did, I'm going to aggressively add, which is exactly what I did. And then we wet our beak there. For the moment, we have bottom wick at that 220.10, but that's for the moment. I don't know. I think maybe on the day Apple ends up defending 220 unless we get a very aggressive sell. I think maybe Meta maybe defending 500 by the end of the day. Who knows what we get on these here markets? It's just like September is volatile, but it's mostly negative. October is the one that's sometimes positive, sometimes negative. So I kind of feel like I know what to expect for September. It's just, you know, you still always react to the price action. So even though it's been very weak, you know, the 220 area still might hold. The 500 area still might hold. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out by the end of the day. Here comes Apple with that $0.50 again. The exact area off which we were defending last time. Do we get another rejection at this $0.50? The $0.50's acted as plenty of support today. There's a lot of interaction between that $0.50 and say from 12:30 around till 1 o'clock. So about an hour's worth of defending the $0.50 here. But as we get into 5 minutes into the hour, Dara, I'm going to have to respectfully weasel my way on over to the big desk to prepare the rundown. I hope you print up a storm in whatever trade. No, you're not in a trade. You're trying to get into a trade. Tell them all about it, Dara.
But yeah, thank you, Sharif, and we appreciate the respectful weaseling. It's very kind of you there. Also, yeah, so NVIDIA, I loved that push here above the 90 MA. Tried to get filled. NVIDIA was like, you realize I don't have to fill you, right? I was like, yeah, I know. I was only going to risk 10 cents here. I was going to risk into 102.20s. So the risk to reward here was dope. I was going to take it with size. And NVIDIA was like, but the best part is I don't care about your feelings. And I was like, yeah, okay, I understand. We'll see what happens here. It's rejecting 102.50. So maybe this was just a quick pop. The other name I like here, though, that I want to keep an eye on because I do like some end-of-day scalps, as you may all know. Okay, well, Tesla's like, yeah, Dara, I do not care about your end-of-day scalp theory. I'm just going to dump that. Cool. That 214.70 area is kind of interesting. Could maybe risk this into 214.90s. I actually don't mind that. Let's see what it does as we head into 214.70s. Not that I'm looking for trades, but I do think you've had, especially lately, a lot of these drops or these opportunities here as we get to the end of the midday. As someone who used to scalp like almost exclusively, I do like the opportunity to get some of these scalps. Tesla right now looks a little bit stronger. That NVIDIA, though, I definitely missed that nice little pop opportunity on that stock. But you know what's great? When's the next trade? We can keep going. We can try new things. Pass Overdose, reminding us of a name that we maybe passed over earlier today. That is Google. We haven't looked at this one much today, so we're taking a look at Google. Guys, I'm just watching here some of the books in case I jump in a trade, but I want to look at some tickers for you guys here as well. So, yeah, Google is just weak. Umbrella. By the way, guys, when I say umbrella pattern, I mean we have a sharp downward move, a quick upward move, and then we continue to quadunk. Yeah, Rihanna would love this. Like circa 2007, Rihanna would love this pattern. That is for sure, because that thing and his umbrella, AAA. Look at us, though, now trying to find some support here, bouncing off that 151.60 area, which was that little bit of that chip and chop. Now we're trying to find support from previous resistance. Not at all a bad look when a stock does that, so we'll have to see what Google does. But we'd have a lot of levels we'd have to fill. We'd still have to push above that 152, which was another support resistance flip. Then I would be watching for any other kind of level that we had any interesting trough to see what the interaction was there. I tried to get a short fill in Tesla. That's definitely not happening. Devion Wade wants to take a look at Peloton. So let's see what Peloton, what they're peddling over there on Peloton. So we're going to take that. Also, I'm just gearing up to, if NVIDIA breaks below 1 at 230s, I'm shorting that. So I'm just watching that here. Wow, okay, Piton, low of daybreak, not a ton of volume here. Although actually 100,000 shares. So not a lot of relative volume compared to what else we did today, but not at all bad volume. Piton trading almost 25 million shares. Wow, Peloton, did you have a news catalyst? I will look right now for the Piton one. P-T-O-N. What are you doing, Peloton? Why are you running, or why were you running, I guess, better? I'm not seeing anything on this. It is a little bit squeezy, so we'll find out some Twitter attention. We have about a minute left here. Oh, I love this level for Peloton on the day. We've got a bit of a bull flag forming here, trying to find some nice support here at that 440 level. Bit of a lower high, though, and now we have a topping tail, double top on a wick basis into 520, which is previous support. So 520 might be a skosh elusive for Peloton. Pedaling or pedalings at bears versus bulls. Honestly, you could use both. I was thinking pedal like a bike, but also like it's pedaling stuff, like selling. I don't know. I love double entendres, and you showed it to Eminem and the rappers with that. I did miss that the Tesla short, which would have worked out. NVIDIA long would have worked out, but NVIDIA was not really able to get much past that 102.50. This has been a really fun day. I'm going to look at my, we were flat on the day, so I can honestly live with that. Happy with the trades I took, except for I don't know why I felt the need to trade Lily today, but had some good levels. Really excited to hit Broadcom tomorrow, hit NVIDIA, or not tomorrow, you guys know what I mean, on Monday. Lots of continuation plays, but we're going to have to continue on with the rest of the show. I really hope you guys had a fun day. I have so much fun being here with you guys every single day, and it's, really exciting times here in these markets. We will see you again on Monday. It'll be the same bat time and the same bat channel. But in case you were wondering what Obi and Neil were up to in the 3 intervening hours while we were yapping, you'll find out now. We're going to see you guys on Monday. Let's see Sharif at the green screen. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown of the show. Here we go. Welcome to the afternoon rundown of the show where we